Hello and welcome. I am the LastHPHero, and you have found your way to TPK Roleplay. We are so very glad you're here and hope you enjoy your stay. Over the course of the next several months, we shall be playing our way through the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure module, Rime of the Frostmaiden. Strangers brought together from different corners of the world must face an unrising sun, the bitter cold, and many secrets yet to uncover. First and foremost, no attempt to make this story child-appropriate have occurred. This is a story of cold isolation, alien incursion, and self-centered divinities. This actual play stream will contain adult language, descriptions of violence, some light gore, scary images, and generally speaking, a great deal of cold. Our players are here to warm the night. Safety tools are in place for the players, but you as a viewer do not have such a luxury, so if you know of any sensitivities to the listed topics, please keep a teleportation spell prepped and ready just in case. But barring that ready to action, kick back, relax, keep all heads, hands, paws, and claws inside the stream at all times, slap that follow button for the wonderful TPK roleplay games happening throughout the week. Make sure you click the Discord link that I am positive will appear in chat at any moment. And, above all else, be good. That's the rule. Be good. Item 2. The start of any campaign requires multiple notes of thanks to the people that make it happen. So a huge thank you to Proper Nerdy for the overlay. Proper did an amazing job, and we absolutely love it. It's fabulous. Massive appreciation to Sim, also known as Ryan, the Simulacrea on Twitter, for the work that he did on the theme song. I love having the theme songs, the beat, the background. It's wonderful. Sim did a fantastic job. Thanks to him. And an outpouring of my love and admiration for Al, who did the character portrait art that is so absolutely phenomenal. As a matter of fact, a token of appreciation, if you're in here and you don't follow already, hit a follow button. All those sorts of things just would be wonderful. I think that's that part. Oh, Article C. We at TPK Roleplay are giving away a copy in the format of your choice of this very adventure module. The whole thing. Rime of the Frostmaiden. So while there are many wonderful ways that you can impact the game through the night using your channel points, one of them is to, yes, just as Niffer just did, get a giveaway ticket to win the Icewind Dale module. So use those channel points. Additionally, bits and tips can affect the game in all sorts of ways. Good tables, bad tables, wonderful things to take a look at. Top secret section 4-1.1. You may not know these amazing players. And I know you don't know their amazing characters. So let's change that. Everyone here will say hello, introduce themselves and their characters, plug other shows or projects they're participating in, games they play, and how does your character feel about the impending cold and darkness of Icewind Dale? To my right is the first among firsts, a royal demeanor that makes a mock of the mockery of the monarchy, one truly worthy of your admiration and adulations, devotions and approbations. It's Breeedo.
Hi, so my name is Breeedo, and my pronouns are she, they, and I'm going to be playing Sabine, and her pronouns are she, her, and she is a Tiefling rogue assassin, and she has kind of stumbled into this world. She has no idea where she came from, and essentially she's trying to figure out where she came from and why she's here. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. But you can find me on Twitter. I'm doing a lot of TTRPG stuff over there. Right now I'm in a Summon of Kings campaign with Swordsfall. I'm doing GMing stuff over there, and I'm also an affiliate. And you can also catch me in LFM's show, Rise of the Veiled Alliance, Tales from the Celtic Expanse, and I play Kita in that as well on Sundays. So, I think that's like all the important stuff that I'm doing. And Sabine is not happy because she's an infernal and her element is fire. So this is the complete opposite of fire. So she's kind of dying on the inside, but that's okay. She'll survive. So yeah, that's where she's at about the cold.
Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Counterclockwise, up and around. If it was music which soothed the savage beast, then he's shown himself to be made of song. Or perhaps the beasts were never so savage after all. It's T.
Hi there, I'm T, and my pronouns are he, they, and I play Brom. In this game, he's a Paladin of Torm. He is not very excited about going into the cold. He's actually very concerned about the climate and all the cold. So, but he is excited about his mission, which was given to him by his order. So he's excited about following up there.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Working our way up and around. In the upper right corner, born of sparks and feyfire, raised up on a pillar of pure light, shining through the lens of their own prism and splashing a rainbow of joy across the world. It's Al.
Oh, thanks. My name is Al. My pronouns are they, them, and I play Mirth, who is a Dragonborn Bard. His opinion about where we are is great. He's really excited. Sure, he had visions of sugar plums dancing in his head, and this is a little bit different than what he thought, but he's feeling optimistic. There's a world of adventure, and as long as we don't freeze and die, we can reach out and grab it. And as for me, I'm a full-time illustrator, mostly for indie tabletop games. And you can find me on the socials at Al_Lukehart.
Fabulous. In the top left of our portraits is the one. One among a crowd of nuns, one remarkable, unrepeatable, created with singular being afore the once used mold was broken. It's Niffer.
Hi, I'm my youngest child, and my dad told me that at one point, you know, your parents just stopped when they found a kid they liked, so that's accurate. I'm Niffer, they, she, and I'm playing Lane, who is from 10 Towns, which is the area that Frostmaiden is based on. So how I feel about the cold is just like, well, this is how it is. Yeah, that's it. I'm on the spinny chair already. I'm sorry.
No. It's a countdown until the Niffer. And for those of you that don't know, we'll tell you when it happens. Directly above me, held in his hands is power immeasurable, potential unfathomable. He controls the balance between the surreality of a dream and the indisputable reality. No force can slow his unstoppable rise. It's Rox.
Hey everybody, my name is Rox. You can find me online at Rox the Wizard on Twitter. I will be playing Neo tonight. He is a fiery boy, a really fiery boy who's just happy to be here, really. He is cold. He does not know how to feel about it yet. But once it gets colder, then he probably will not be a very happy boy anymore. So we'll see.
Wonderful. Well, we are so excited to get started, and there's no reason to delay any longer. So we shall dive in to Icewind Dale itself to pick up where a little bit of backstory had started, something that the audience isn't privy to, but our group have read over a few times. Mirth, Neo, Sabine, Sir Brom, the four of you have traveled ever northward for days. Passing not a single other soul, you've grown appreciative of each other's company. How much you've shared along your journeys, completely up to you. But you have no doubt that there's much more to learn about each of your new companions. Your journey into the foothills of the spine of the world has drawn you ever closer to the frozen cap of Faerun, Icewind Dale. The days have grown ever shorter, the evenings ever colder, snow falls more heavily, and for the last day, you've made very good use of snowshoes that you bought in Luskan before you left many days ago. Exiting a small copse of trees at the end of a mountain pass, with the sun having long since set, though it's but midday, you reach the southern star. A simple stone bridge over the mostly frozen Red Run River. Notable only for the unusual lamppost on the Icewind Dale side. The light is the bridge's namesake. You all had your eyes open for this waypoint, knowing that once you passed through its glow, you would be fully within the Dale. The makers of this lamp are a mystery. Its construction is unknown even by the greatest minds of the Host Tower of the Arcane. Some believe it's a relic of ancient Netheril. Others think it's a rare gift from the gods themselves. None are certain. What can be certain is that as you begin to cross the bridge, standing within its cold glow is a solitary figure as bundled up against the bitter cold as you. You can't shake the distinct feeling that they've been waiting your arrival. Icewind Dale is yours.
Mirth is going to reach out unnecessarily and pat Brom's shoulder and go, "Oh my gosh, look, there's someone. There's someone. Do you see them?" And then walk behind Brom and look out. You go first.
Sorry, dogs are barking. Brom would get up and go approach the figure. He doesn't seem to be afraid, but he certainly seems to be cautious, I'll say. He also at first appreciated the layers of armor, but now he seems uncomfortable and soaked. But he would go and approach the waiting figure.
I'm assuming that the waiting figure is me. Can it be me?
Absolutely. Lane?
It's me! Cool. Lane is probably like very just bundled up, like scarf / hat / hood, whatever, like over most of the face, and he'll just like pull it down, and he's got just a face full of like tattoos all over his face and a really cool beard. And it's just like, "I've been waiting for you for a very long time. Do you know how rough it is out here?"
Mirth is going to, when you say that, blink and then look behind himself and then back. And then at the others, like, "You know this guy?"
Who is that?
Brom also looks kind of at them as if, asking if they know, and then kind of like double takes at them.
Can we just get to some heat, please?
Who are you? Pardon me, my manners. I am Sir Brom Rowan Layden, and I wasn't aware we were expecting you.
Yes, I've been told that there are people coming, so I am Lane. Hello?
Hi.
Now
Mirth will do a curtsy and introduce himself.
we have been bombarded with a number of chat cleric things that I'm going to go over real quickly. And then the first of them, the biggest impact to the good table, will go off. So I, as DM, got beat up a lot. So we have a +2 for Neo. So Neo, you get a +2. Hold on to that for when you need it.
Thank you.
Oh wait, to the fiery boy. Yeah, that's Neo. It's got to be Neo. Rox, you got a second +2.
Oh.
Niffer, you get a +2. And then I am going to need someone to roll a D100 for me.
Me! Go on, do it!
So the good table is a incredibly random good thing that happens to the party. That will
Nice ASMR.
that will last at least for the session. So we shall see what we start off with.
0, 0 on the 10s, and then a 7.
I can't remember if
7.
that's like just 07. I think that's 07. Yes.
All right. As the group of you approach, you reach the end of the bridge and look up at this lamppost nearby. A few things happen. One, Mirth, you feel in your pack, there's this moisture in your pocket that suddenly you start to feel. It's like you put an ice cube in your pocket and it melted. It's
again.
It's in whatever pouch you put that map case. So that's just for you to know. And then the 4 of you, standing on top of this lamppost, there is a 8-inch tall figure. And they have a large hat on.
Oh no.
They are holding in one hand a bear trap, and they are wearing simple survivalist garb. And they're going to look at the 4 of you and place a finger to their lips like this, and point down to the person underneath the light.
Don't do it. Oh no.
Mirth is gonna look at you and say, "He with you?"
As you do that, he's going to lift the bear trap and drop it, and disappear as Lane looks up. As this trap starts to fall, it lands in Lane's hands. Lane, you have an animal trap
Sweet.
that essentially is going to allow you, once you use it overnight, to have enough food to feed 5 people for a day. No checks,
Nice.
no bothering with survival,
dinner.
no rangers. It doesn't matter if it's the frozen wastes. You have a dinner finder, and you can use that anytime you would like.
Amazing.
So just a little bit of happiness for you.
Yes. Put bear trap away in bag.
Brom isn't quite sure what happened there. Glad that there wasn't
will
a bear
happen.
trap falling.
Neo's just gonna assume that it was
You
a
know,
good
bear
thing.
trap didn't like.
That happens there. It's fine.
I see.
No, it's not, Mirth says loudly from the background. That was weird. And then as he's saying this, he's going to be shuffling around in his pack looking for his precious map scroll. Is it wet?
It is.
Did it melt?
You'd have to open the case and find out.
I open it up and go, no. It can't be wet. Oh no.
You open the map case, and in it, you see more of the map than you'd seen before. You look down, and that image that I sent you, that's what you see. It's no longer completely frosted over. This section of the map has opened.
Mirth is going to jump in front of everybody and be like, guys, look at this. It uncovered more of itself. It melted.
Brom goes
Interesting,
over and like stares at it as if he's going to learn a lot just by like looking at this map that he doesn't really understand.
All of you look down at this map, and it's definitely a map of where you are. There's a river running, there's a bridge, there's a small little mark next to the bridge. In fact, immediately next to the bridge. Almost right where the lamppost is.
Is it a lamppost shaped mark?
Give me a investigation check. Let's see what you can piece together looking at your map.
Okay.
Do we all roll or just Mirth?
Just Mirth. If one of you wants to help, you can. The way we do rolls, if one of you does it, you're on your own. If 2 of you, either both of you can, or you can give assistance. If 3 people want to, everyone has to, and half have to pass. So.
Okay, I'll give assistance.
Okay. What was that again?
Investigation.
I rolled a 14 for investigation.
14. And Brom, are you going to roll to investigate yourself or just grant advantage?
Grant advantage.
All right. Go ahead and give yourself another roll and tell me what you get.
I got a 22.
22.
I'm so observant. Thanks, Brom. I spy. We're just really into it.
Brom's really interested. He doesn't really know like what he's looking at. He's not the smartest guy, but he really wants to help. So he's helping you investigate that map. He's like, oh, look at all these things. Doesn't really know what they mean.
I love things.
Okay. Yes.
The two of you take a look and you see, it is right where the lamppost is. And as you look at the wet spot that is visible, it seems to radiate out from more or less where the post itself is. So with that amazing investigation, you're quite confident it's trying to direct you to the post for some reason.
It's trying to direct us to the post for some reason. And Mirth is going to go over and start shuffling around in the snow. I think he's going to hand the map to Sabine and be like, I got this. Oh, cold. Oh, God. And is going to start pawing as though it's definitely in there. I think he's got it into his head that you have to dig for treasure. So he's going in.
And he's going to see you do that. And he's going to lighten up and start running over there and helping you dig as well.
And when
Brom doesn't think it's digging probably and would go and investigate the lamppost itself.
Yeah, when you hand the map to Sabine, she's on the ground and she's like just shivering just violently, and she like reaches up a hand and she just takes it. She's like she can even say thank you. She's like, and then she kind of just tucks it away, and then she just goes back to just kind of, writhing on the ground. It's she's a little
We gotta get you a scarf.
Yeah.
Do we know what it is we're digging for?
Nope.
Oh.
Did we find it yet?
The two of you digging, go ahead and make athletics checks. Brom, give me another investigation. And Sabine, just shiver for warmth. It's all right.
Got a 16.
17.
The two of you just start digging like crazy. You are tossing snow out of the way, and you notice a couple things. The snow is quite deep. So even with the constantly falling snow and the darkness that is unusual this time of day, the snow's a couple feet deep, and you dig all the way to the base of this light post, and you're able to clear the snow a little bit, and it doesn't seem like it's attached to the ground, but it's going deeper into the ground. Brom, as you start to look on the outside, it's been smoothed and weathered. There doesn't seem to be any indication of writing or runes or any of those elements that you might think to find. It's not even really decorative. It actually seems mostly utilitarian in some way. And as you run your hand down the light post, trying to look closer to wipe the frost away, Sabine, the map in front of you warms just a little bit.
Huh.
And you see a new section starting to melt away.
Hey, there's a section that's melting on the map.
I think Mirth materializes right next to you as though he was always there and is like, there.
Because we touched the lamppost.
I think so.
I see.
What does it show?
Further to the west, and it hasn't melted yet, but you see just a little bit of a spot further to the west. It hasn't cleared, so it doesn't have the big image like the one that Mirth already has, but one is starting to open up. So mechanically, Al, I'll send you a new picture after we're done. And Lane, you standing there taking a look, you see that it cuts through some quite dangerous terrain. And it might just be better to head back to town than try and go that way for now. But it's up to you what you tell them.
Yep. Well, are you in pursuit of something particular, everyone?
Are we ever? And then you're gonna get the spiel You're gonna get like Mirth, I actually think, is going to stand up nobly and flourish his capelet, and I think he's gonna like do a small reenactment of how he won the map and how it came from a red wizard who had fallen afoul of and underestimated some pirates, but then he won it from the pirates and it led him up here, and there's something spectacular waiting for us, probably.
Yes, it's called frostbite. You're not going to be much use to digging around in the snow unless you actually know where you're going. Back in the towns might do you some good.
I'm looking for Knights of the Black Sword, actually.
Do I know anything about that?
Not particularly.
What's
I
that?
heard that they're a wicked order. I'm searching for their hands.
Like just their hands, or like
Well,
Their feet?
the rest of them?
well, all of them. I'm actually searching for them out here. They're active agents in hiding. I feel like, well, we know that they're out here, but I don't know where or even where to start. I thought maybe we could find out more while we're investigating. But, I can't, I suppose asking questions is a first step. He looks as uncertain as he sounds, to be honest.
Should
Are
we
they
go
bad
back to
guys?
town?
It was like a 2-day journey though to town, right? Took me 2 days to get here.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It is.
Cool.
It is 15 miles stretching between the Southern Star Bridge and Bryn Shander.
Gotta look at the map. I'm gonna zoom in.
Yep.
So are these blacks? Are they bad guys?
They're the very worst, in fact. Well, one of the very worst. They perform all sorts of evil acts. They're incredibly cruel, and they work in underhanded ways.
Oh, that'll do no good. We have to help you take them out.
You're
Most
all
definitely.
very new to this, aren't you?
New to what?
Okay.
Mirth, by the way, is going to take his top layer cloak, which is super unnecessarily, it looks like quilted, right? It's a little too fancy, and is going to put it over Sabine with sort of a motherly pat, like, it's going to be okay, probably.
She's
I know, this isn't your favorite.
Oh,
I know. Why don't you walk next to Neo? He gets off a lot of heat.
That sounds like a great idea.
And so she just slowly like gets up, and she's just like trembling, and she kind of just like falls onto Neo, and she's like snuggling up against him, and she's like, "Sorry, I'm so close."
You're squishing me.
Does Sabine have like mittens on?
So she wasn't prepared for this. So all she has is just her cloak on, and she probably has just her clothes on under her cloak.
Okay.
I did
does
give
she
you
want to
all
wear
cold
double
weather
cloaks?
gear, so you
Because
do all
Brom
have
can
cold
give
weather
her his
gear
cloak.
and snowshoes.
Lane's gonna pull off his mittens and cast Prestidigitation, which can warm up to 1 cubic foot of non-living material, and he's just going to put them on her hands. Just be like, okay, here you go. Just
Well, maybe we
We'll
should go
get
back
you
to
used to
town
this.
then.
it is a 15-mile journey there, but yes.
But Sabine's turning into a snowflake.
I can't keep her warm for long.
That will keep her for a while at least. Her hands are fine.
Mirth looks really disappointed, and I think for the camera he poses slightly and gives a soulful look out into the distance, and then turns to look at the others and is like, I hate to say it, but I think we should go back to town before we press forward. with one of our party freezing cold, we can't hope to make any progress that's meaningful.
Especially if we're going somewhere dangerous. I think we might be ill prepared for this journey.
Point.
So back north to Bryn Shander?
Or, tell you what, question, slightly out of character, but let's just paint a mind picture.
Absolutely.
On the map, do we see any indication of another of the 10 towns if we keep pressing forward? Or...
So, you know, and Lane would know. So Lane can answer this for you as well. Where you are is on the 10 Trail. And the 10 Trail is the only passage through the spine of the world that will lead you into 10 Towns itself. And it goes right up to Bryn Shander. There's no other way to get around safely in Icewind Dale except over the roads. Any passage over land is especially treacherous, especially slow, and very, very dangerous. So the safe way would be to head north back along the trail to Bryn Shander.
Okay. But just to clarify, we don't know of another town that we could go to before, like, for example, if Lane is aware that there is another community where we could get kitted out for things, would it be better to keep going forward? I actually think Mirth in character is going to ask Lane for advice on this and say, if we do go forward, can we make it that far and get re-kitted out?
Odd. Is there a closer town, or is Bryn Shander going to be the best bet?
Technically, Dugan's Hole is close, but it's completely across country.
Oof.
So even though it's closer, it's going to be slower, more dangerous, and Dugan's Hole is the smallest of the 10 towns.
Yeah, Bryn Shander's going to be better.
Bryn Shander's the largest.
I just meant, like, we can't get out of the snow and have them actually purchase cold gear before they walk into Icewind Dale.
Okay.
That's cool. It's fine. No, yep. I say all of that in a better Russian accent and stuff like that.
Okay.
So north it is.
Yeah, I think.
And if I can warm 2 more sets of mittens if you really need it. So.
And I can do socks.
Yeah, and she can't say great, but you get the point. So
okay. I'm just gonna shove my own cold hands in my armpits and just like turn and start leading them.
So the road north to Bryn Shander is marked by posts every few hundred feet or so. Tall posts to make sure that you can still find your way even if the snow completely covers the road. At first, your travel is pretty standard. You're going a good 2 miles an hour in your snowshoes over the surface of the snow. It's sturdy enough to carry your weight so it doesn't slow you down. And you're able to proceed like that until about 5 in the evening. So you spend 4 hours traveling, making it 8 miles closer to Bryn Shander before Lane, you notice the change in the snow first, being the one most familiar. Instead of the easy to traverse and crunchy snow, it gets powdery and loose. Even in snowshoes, you're sinking to your ankles with every step, and it slows you down immensely. You have some options. Now, the 4 of you have been traveling for quite some time. Lane, you've been waiting there for them to arrive, but the others have already been traveling all day. So you've put in a full day's travel and can either push forward to try and get closer to Bryn Shander so you have less distance to travel tomorrow, or you can set up camp for the night early, tuck in, and get a fresh start the next day. Which way would you guys rather go, or would you all rather go?
Brom's always a fan of pressing onward, at least when it's sensible, so that would be his vote.
Neo is a follower, so he'll do whatever everybody else wants to do.
Oh, he's a good boy.
He is.
Getting closer to the town means more heat, so Sabine's gonna keep going forward.
Mirth will agree with that. Let's keep going.
Let's do it. Every hour, Lane will up the prestidigitation warmth on the mittens, and probably after like the first two is like, no, you know what, and just like unwrap the scarf and just like stick it around Sabine. Just like do that as well. Just like
Sabine getting different cosplay outfits as we're going along.
Sabine's wearing 2 cloaks, mittens, socks, and a scarf so far. It needs a hat, but
Amazing.
I don't think anyone has one to
Her
spare.
face is slowly but surely just like getting
Yep.
more hidden, because she also has like this huge head of hair and like curls that are coming out from underneath her hood, so everything is just like getting squished.
Neo's gonna walk right by you, and he's kind of like squishing his face, trying to like intensify the flames on top of his head.
Oh,
A little bit warmer, but it's not working as well as he wanted to.
That's so cute.
Aw,
Like a Psyduck. Just
he's so good.
Literally.
A few things start to happen. First, I need, let's have Rox, will you roll me a d8, please?
Yeah.
oh boy.
Scared. Two.
Oh no.
probably
Alright.
a good thing. It's fine.
Thank you much. And the other thing that I need is every hour that you're going to press on, everyone who's been traveling, which is everyone but Lane, because Lane's been there all day waiting, will have to make a Constitution saving throw. If you fail the Constitution saving throw, you will gain a level of exhaustion for tomorrow. So even your full night's rest is not going to take that away.
Okay.
So it starts at a simple 10, and it's about 5 o'clock. You had the option to stop. Knowing that, do you want to keep going or stop for the night? Are you guys... You're already rolling.
Yeah.
Probably
I
stop.
don't want to cheat. I was like, oh.
Oh,
Oh,
I
we
had
gotta
already
stop.
rolled because I thought that was what I was supposed to do, but I would probably stop.
Boss man. 1, check your Discord. 2, I got here with like sled dogs and a dog sled, and a certain somebody took away the dogs, but do I still have the sled?
Took the sled too. It looked like fun.
Ah, really? Mm,
But you got a bear trap.
but I got a bear trap.
Did get a bear
Yay.
trap.
Serves me right for putting up with it.
What's in my
So
Discord?
are we?
I don't know. Chad said check your Discord.
Check my Discord. I see. Proper sent me a few things, but that,
Yes.
I can take a look at that
That's it.
a little bit later. Okay,
That's all.
look at that later.
Anyways.
So every hour we make this roll. Is that what you're saying?
Every hour that you want to push forward. So
Okay.
we'll do the first hour because one, Brom already rolled and you guys decided to push. So go ahead and Sabine and Mirth and Neo, give me some Constitution saving throws.
12.
12's good. A 9 seems appropriate as you are freezing.
Oh,
Wow, all of you.
And Neo, what'd you get?
14.
14. So Brom and Sabine kind of take the brunt of this journey. Maybe it's because Brom is trying to break a path for Sabine and Sabine's having trouble. Whatever the reasoning behind it, you're pushing through. You get to the end of this hour and the two of you are just absolutely exhausted. Your body aches, your thighs ache, everything aches so badly. So it's about 6 in the afternoon. You're a mile closer. So you've covered 9 of the 15 miles. Do you want to continue or do you want to stay?
Mirth is going to check in, particularly with Sabine. How's Sabine looking right now? Is she just like a little bundle now with like a nose?
Yes. You can't really tell if she's a person or just like a walking bundle of cloth.
Yeah. Mirth is gonna lean in and like when you're talking into a paper cup, be like, "Hey, do you want to stop for a while?"
No.
And then like listen at the hole that's going in.
She's like, "No, we keep going."
We're just
Sabine.
gonna do it all nighter or something.
Mirth looks at everybody like, "Well, shall
If she
we?"
wants to keep going, then we can.
Okay.
Okay.
This might help, and I'm going to go ahead and use it this way, even though it's give advantage on the next. Oh yeah, we'll use it for the next one. That's fine. So the downside, as you continue to press forward, it's starting to. So it's dark in Icewind Dale. It's incredibly dark. The stars have been out. The moon has been out, and it just leaves this dim light. It's colorless. It's empty. It's void of life. It feels like just this battering of wind across the foothills is all that you really... Oh, Callie said you had an advantage from earlier, so Sabine, why don't you roll another Constitution save?
Okay.
Just to see if you pass.
We should do that.
A 17. That time.
Oh yeah.
Yay.
So the only one who's exhausted right now is Brom, and Sabine Corndog gave you an additional one for next time. So you're going to be it was during the hype train was very difficult to keep track of, Callie. I was going back through chat. I don't even know what the players said during that time. I was just reading chat. They could have said anything.
Thank yous for Sabine.
So you have advantage for the next one. So the darkness of Icewind Dale is ever present. It is all over. It is covering everything. But it's still dim enough to travel by. The light from the moon and the stars is just enough. But as it gets closer to evening, at least evening the way that you think of it, clouds start to roll in. Mostly from the north and the northwest, and begin to cover the stars and the moon. And Neo or Rox, because of that D8 from earlier, you have an ominous feeling as the clouds come in. You look around, and just past a rocky outcropping, probably 50, 60 feet to your west off the road, you see an unusual bright light. And as you watch that light, before you even have a chance to say anything to the rest of them, shambling from behind this rocky outcropping is what you could only describe as a walking beacon of light. Cold, harsh beams emit from the creature. At its core is the faintest silhouette of something humanoid. And the wind begins to shift. It blows down from the northwest, and all of you hear voices carried on the wind. Unintelligible. They don't seem to be saying anything at all. But after a moment, that glowing figure turns and faces you, Neo. And you hear quite clearly, "So suffer all who stand against winter's wrath. Look upon your future. Look upon your doom. Behold the final light."
I'll turn around to everybody else. Did anybody else hear that?
Did we?
Does anyone else hear that?
You hear the whispers, but not the words.
Did it say something? It says like Brom is clearly shaken right now, but doesn't. He's at that state where you don't want to look afraid, but you're actually very afraid, and is holding on to his sword, still in its sheath.
It was something about doom and danger and all bad stuff. So I kind of want to leave.
What? I didn't hear anything.
Doom, danger. We need to go.
As you
If you
look,
say so.
and Lane, you're the first one to recognize what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know this to be a cold light walker. You know that it could kill you with a touch.
Okay, cool.
The rest of you see this figure bursting with light, some 50, 60 feet away. What do you do?
I'm going to look immediately at Neo and go, not a cousin?
No, not even close.
Do I know? Do I know
my cousins?
Do I know anything about, like, if we leave it alone, it will leave us alone?
You know for a fact that if it sees you and gets close enough, it will kill you just to spite life.
Sweet. Cool. That's a walker. That's nothing to worry about. If we don't bother it, it won't bother you, so let's just move on, alright?
Is it warm?
No. It's very cold. Like.
But it said something about doom, so does that mean it wants to hurt us?
Only if we go near to it. So just leave it alone.
How about we make it so it doesn't come near us?
Yes,
Seems
by
sensible,
leaving,
right?
walking away.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Sabine, this way. Follow my voice.
What?
Yes, let's try to retreat.
Here, and just arm around Sabine's shoulders and just like guiding her away.
And Brom kind of grabs like you know like when a parent like sees something scary but they don't want to say anything, they just kind of like grab the child's arm and like pull harder. That's kind of what Brom does with Neo's arm, like kind of like they're scared and they're holding kind of tightly, but and like pulling, like come on, let's go.
Ah, yes, we found the party dads.
It raises one hand as you start to wander away, and a beam of light flashes out of it, heading straight toward Neo.
No.
That's a 23 hit.
Don't harm him.
So, when Sabine sees that, she's gonna take Neo and try to like move him out of the way. Do I need to roll for that?
So for this, because it rolled a crit, you're not going to be able to do anything about it. Oh, that whispered to the DM. That was ominous. That took all of the drama away from that when it whispered to the DM. I wondered why you didn't react that well. Stinking.
How dare you crit on our baby boy?
So cruel.
Happy boy, not so happy boy.
Yeah.
This is our baby.
The important thing is the 8 points of damage that Neo suffers.
Oh my god, Angel.
No.
And then the question from before. What are you going to do? Now,
Grab Neo and run.
so that people in stream know what we are going to do, I don't do random encounters as straight fights unless they want to. At any point, one of the players can say, I roll initiative for what they do, and we will roll initiative. Anything else that you can do to get away, run away, negotiate, I'm open to your suggestions. You do 5 major successes and you get away. Every failure, there's the possibility of getting hurt. Or something else.
I need to do
Think
math
we
a
can
second.
distract it? You think we can? What would you say?
I need to do math a second. I need to figure out how much I can carry to see if I can actually just physically pick him up, but I have a strength of 7, so the answer is no, I cannot just pick him up and get him out of there.
Okay.
I mean, Brom could pick up Neo and carry him, but I think we're gonna have to distract this thing, or it's gonna keep beaming us.
Uh-huh.
Wait, we need to distract it?
Do something to make
no.
it stop following us.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Because
no.
Brom will pick up
Only.
Neo and try and run with him. That is not a problem, but
Yeah.
it's gonna
Okay.
keep chasing us.
Let's see. Give me just a second. Buffering.
Let's go ahead and have Brom make that athletics check now. While they decide.
Oh no.
A 22.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, he's
Brom
strong.
sees this light, and when it hits Neo, the hair on his head isn't burning quite as bright as it was and has faded down just a little bit. You tuck Neo under your arm and just start booking it.
That is
and
exactly what he does.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can you do lay on hands since he's actually touching Neo?
I'll let you do
I'm
that
not
next time.
actually
Ray.
down yet.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
All right, so Brom grabs
You have,
Neo
like,
and starts
2 hit
running,
points?
and gains one major success in getting away.
Can I can't remember. I might have heckin' long Eldritch Blast already. No, I think I have regular Eldritch Blast, but can I just like throw one well past the light and try and make like a distraction behind him? Or would that like, do I know what my Eldritch Blast looks like and it would show that it had come from me?
You tell me what your Eldritch Blast looks like. It can't really be invisible though. I mean, usually with spells.
No. I'm just trying to decide like, is
Just
that...
letting you know, Mirth has something up his sleeve.
Oh, sweet. Thank you.
Possibly.
Then speak up, my
Mirth,
love.
go ahead while
Okay.
Lane decides.
Hmm?
Go ahead, Mirth.
All right, so Mirth, who was charging up a snowball just for funsies before this was happening, is going to, he's like hopping on his hind feet in his, what do you call the tennis rackets that you stand? Snowshoes.
Snowshoes.
Yeah, and he's kind of hopping, and he's like, I think he just rears back and pitches the snowball past it, and as it goes, when it explodes, minor illusion in the distance, and it's just minor, but I think he makes some, actually just silhouettes, flickering silhouettes, kind of like Neo, actually, I think, because that was what was on his mind, and we see them sort of behind the creature, and I actually think they're sort of mirroring what we're doing, but closer to the critter. So hopefully it will be tempted.
Go ahead and give me a deception check, and because you're using a spell on it, with advantage.
I'm going to go grab something real quick. Be right back.
Is it a puppy?
Oh, I'm so glad there was advantage. 17.
17, you cast the spell. These silhouettes start to flicker behind it, and you see the faint silhouette of the creature's head turn to just glance that way. It seems, the best you can tell, slightly conflicted. So that's a second major success toward getting away.
Yay.
Sabine, Lane, Neo.
Neo's kind of just cowering in Brom's arms right now.
You would like to limp fish.
But like with one eye open.
How beat up does Neo look right now? He took like 8 damage.
Yeah, I only have two hit points.
Okay, I'm gonna come over.
You have a 1d4 from chat, Cleric, by the way.
So the chat has
Yay, chat.
a couple 1d4s available, 5 of them, in fact. So you can use one of those instead of taking an action if you like, but it does allow the possibility of more injury if that's what you choose to do for your action.
Okay, sorry to do 2 things at once, so stop me if needed, but Mirth is going to stumble over, and if it's okay with you, kind of grab the corner of Neo's adorable, like, scarf and go, "It's gonna be okay, buddy," and going to cast Heroism on you, which imbues you with bravery. Until the spell ends, you are immune to being frightened, and you get temporary HP equal to my spellcasting ability mod at the start of each of your turns. So you're gonna get +5 temporary HP.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll do that after, so that will be your action for the next time around. So Sabine and Lane.
So I'm gonna go ahead and cast Thaumaturgy, and I'm actually going to cause some tremors underneath this thing. And hopefully that will cause a distraction. Let's see. So that's a 16.
A 16 for deception.
Mm-hmm.
The tremors, it's already looking over its shoulder at the minor illusion that Bright had. That Bright. that Mirth had cast. And the tremors cause it to turn more toward those distractions than towards your group for just a moment. It seems very, very conflicted. So that's 3 major successes.
job.
Hey,
Lane?
good job, everyone. What can I make like a check on this to see what I know? Like, my instinct is like, yes, throw pocket bacon at it. But I feel like that probably wouldn't be smart. But I need to confirm that that's a stupid theory.
So you can use your action to do something like a history check. Religion
cool.
check would also work. Or I'd even... Yeah, those are the two that I'd take. If you pass, it won't be enough for a major success, but it will help someone else.
Yeah, I want to know for next time
Sounds
so
good.
that I can bait it properly. I guess I'm just gonna roll history a second.
Go ahead.
Okay. I only have a +1, so it's probably not good. 15.
15. So you are trying to think of all the dangers that you've heard about as you've lived here in the Icewind Dale, and as you think about it, Cold Light Walkers, they're magically imbued undead. They are people that have been released into the cold as a sacrifice to the Frostmaiden. And as they wander and die, they are reborn with the cold light of winter. And in a lot of ways, they are heralds of the Frostmaiden's hatred of pretty much everyone that lives there. So what you know is they're insatiable, drawn to living things. You know that if you die to one, you become one.
Great, cool. So pocket bacon probably doesn't work.
Yep. So the next thing that anyone does is going to get a +2 bonus. And I'm not keeping track of your bonuses from chat, so don't forget about those that you already have. So Neo, you have an action that you can take, and then we can go on to the heroism that Mirth is about to cast on you.
Okay.
Or are you going to go with, or are you going to stick with cowering as the action?
I'll probably stick with cowering as the action right now until I get more bravery.
Yeah.
You can also use one of those D4s of healing. There's 5 of them available.
I'm gonna do that, actually.
Yeah. It'll get you real HP too. Because this will go way later. This is temporary.
I can live with both.
When the adrenaline fades, you're gonna be like, ow.
Just I was drunk, guys.
You feel this inner warmth within you. You're not sure where it came from. It's this glimmer of hope that was given to you from somewhere. And you can roll a D4 to heal.
I got a 4.
And as you do,
Yeah.
Mirth, you run up in order to cast your spell, as you said you had a moment ago. And as you do, this creature, slowly wandering towards the group, raises its hand once again.
Rude.
And blasts Lane with a burst of this cold light washing over his body. And you take 2 damage.
Okay. That's fine. I don't even react.
Okay. Mirth, you cast this heroism on Neo, and you feel like you've really empowered Neo. You've really poured some help into him. It hasn't really helped you get away, but because of the spell, everyone just feels better about it. So instead of just giving Neo a bonus, I'll give everyone this round a +2 to whatever they try to do.
Aww.
The other 4 of you, there are two major successes left before you get away.
Brom's gonna try and keep running with Neo even faster than before, hopefully.
All right,
Gonna try it.
Because you've already done an athletics check to try and get away, go ahead and give me a Constitution check. Just a straight Constitution check, not a save, to see if you can keep it up or not. And you have a +2 to this.
Is that a disadvantage because of exhaustion, or?
Not going to be exhausted until
Cool.
waking up the next morning.
This is the exhausting part. Good deal.
You were muted for a... So that's
I'm
the
sorry.
save.
I got a
but we'll-
20. Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, your save and your check are the same. So you don't slow at all, and Mirth, as soon as Mirth finishes casting the spell on Neo, Mirth is just standing there kind of as the two of you go running down the path. So that's 4 successes, and you're starting to put quite a bit of distance as the rest of the group's kind of jogging along to try and keep up. This creature's distracted by what's going on around it. 1 more major success, and you can probably leave this thing behind.
Can I try and intimidate with an Eldritch Blast? Like, can I, instead of making an attack roll, can I make an intimidation?
Sure. I'll let that slide.
Because I want to, like, make it be, like, not attacking him. Like, I want to shoot wide on purpose, but in a I could hit you if I wanted to.
Okay, go ahead.
Thing. Okay.
And you have
21?
a plus. That's plenty. You
For
blast.
intimidation?
You send this blast flying. And
Just like body block Neo, and I'm like, no. Just like yelling.
the explosion of the Eldritch Blast finishes this distraction of this creature, and it's turning, trying to follow after these images as you continue to jog down the road. And after a few minutes, you feel like you've probably put enough space between you and this strange creature that it at least won't find you easily if it finds you again.
Cool.
I think Mirth has taken out his concertina and is breathing heavily and trying to sing a little song about being brave and throwing snowballs, making sure that you don't get killed by these horrific beings of death and light. Yeah.
Is this a song of your own composition?
Yeah, it's an anxiety song.
Oh, good.
And I think there's actually, as you throw your thing, there's like a like kind of a noise as you are throwing, like startlement and then frantic, like more accordioning. It's a nervous tick.
Mm-hmm. I
Brom
also
kind of
nervous accordion. It's fine.
Brom kind of like finally slows down. Like he's reached that point in jogging. If anyone ever does like running for fun, or maybe no one's that crazy, but if you do run for fun and you like do that thing where you like increase your speed a lot, and then you kind of like reach that point where you can't sustain it anymore, and then you're just kind of like really out of breath. He's kind of like at that point where he's sort of like huffing a little bit and like jogging more slowly. Like still jogging, but like not well. And then he just kind of like stops and he's like
Neil's gonna look up at you. Thank you for saving me. You really helped me out there, and I probably would have died if it wasn't for you.
It was everyone.
But you carried me away, and I'm not that light, so especially you.
Oh, it's okay. And I'm happy to help. Always, please. I'm glad you're okay. That thing was, I don't know what that was, but that was frightening.
Yeah, he was a little scary.
And he puts Neo down and doesn't like let go of him, but he kind of like continues to be kind of walking at a pace, like trying to put distance between them and scary light and zombie.
Kid, you don't know it, but you're here to fight his boss.
Me?
Yes, all of you, as far as I've been informed.
Informed by who?
I work for somebody who has a job and said that you all get to help me. So if you're up for it, you'll get stronger and you'll fight him and his boss and everyone in between.
A rousing and articulate speech.
And I just like pat you on the shoulder like, you got this, buddy. Like,
Mirth is going to give you the strangest look as you walk by and say, run that by me again?
The winter, the darkness, the everything here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not supposed to be like this.
I mean, you sure? Because it is
Yes.
like up north. Okay.
I lived here before. It was like this. It's not supposed to be like this.
How's it different?
Well, you see how it's always dark? My daughter has not seen the sun since she was 6 months old.
That's a shame.
Hmm.
How long has it been?
2 years, almost 3.
What happened?
There is a creature here that, well, she took the sun. She does not like the sun. She covered the land in dark. And my boss really likes the sun. So I have to take care of it. And he said there would be friends that I had to make that would help me get the sun back. So
Aww, we're friends.
Brom kind of like touches his head as if to say like, oh, that makes sense. He's not really like the brightest person, but like the pieces kind of finally came together.
He's gonna like hop up and he's gonna put his hands on his arm and like a little arm on his waist and like a little heroic pose. And he's gonna be like, "That's why I'm here, to help you guys get the sun back."
well, you took to that mission very quickly. Okay.
That's gonna be my hero name, Sun.
Good
Aww.
good boy.
Well, that's what we have to do then. Says
You
Brom.
remind me a lot of my boy. And just like pat you on the shoulder, Neo.
How many kids do you have?
3.
Where are they at?
What'd you say?
Where are they at?
I point towards 10 towns.
Into the darkness. Just into the swirling black. You're like, is there
Out
somewhere?
there somewhere.
I mean,
So-
to be fair, that's what I do too. Like
Yeah.
whenever we're in the desert, they're like, "Where are we going?" I'm like pointing to the void.
Yep.
So when there's like a lull in the conversation, Sabine's like, "So what's happening?"
I think we're gonna have to set up camp.
I'll start the fire.
I can kind of help with that.
Right. I'll pulls out bear trap. Get dinner. It's just like very resignedly just like flop the bear trap on the ground. I'm just like, this is what we're doing now.
Mirth can start setting up a shelter. Yeah.
Brom will help as well with setting up the tent and such, since you usually need 2 people, and getting everything set so that it doesn't blow over when the wind comes and all that. Deep staking.
Is there like a tauntaun we can just go like cut in half and shove Sabine in? Because I feel like she needs it.
Well, let's see what the bear trap catches.
Okay, cool.
Over the course of the next hour or so, you set up camp. It's not a quick thing to do in the wilds of Icewind Dale. The tent not only needs set up, but it needs to be surrounded in snow. You practically have an igloo by the time you're done, just to have enough warmth to make it through the night. And as about 8 p.m. arrives, the clouds that have been moving across the sky from the northwest clear, and the wind picks up from that direction. And you can see just before you decide to whether you're going to set watch or all bed down, whatever decision you make for that, you see this faint green glow on the horizon far to the northwest begin to shine. And if you watch it, it moves ever so slowly, dropping a green ribbon across the starlit sky as it travels, just horizon to horizon.
Mirth loves it. I think he grabs whoever's nearest to him and sighs and goes, "Isn't it romantic?" Just whoever.
Brom kind of squints at it, like,
Yeah, I squint from far across the campfire. Just like,
Oh,
not so much squinting at Mirth, but squinting at the thing, the Aurora Borealis, I assume.
I think Mirth would have heard about this, right? The Northern Lights. It's on the pamphlet.
In a way.
We
So
have
rather than
pamphlets for the
rather
city?
than filling the sky, it's this single ribbon that is
Is it like a
beginning to
shooting
stretch.
star?
It's not
Oh.
a shooting star, it's a ribbon, and as the green ripples across the horizon, it leaves the curtain of the Aurora Borealis behind. And it's slow progress as it moves across the sky. Lane, you would know that that's a herald of the spell each night. That
Oh,
keeps
I was
the
like,
sun
is
away.
that my boss? Because I'm just going to shake my fist if it is.
No.
Like, but cool. I'm just like, cool.
Mirth is fully convinced it's the Northern Lights, has no idea about this cultural staple beyond murmurings when he first got into town. Ma'am.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Brom does not know what he's looking at. Can I make a check?
You can make... I would take a history or religion check, either one.
I will do a religion check because he's good at that, and also he doesn't necessarily think it's Northern Lights, so he probably actually has a little bit of an advantage that way. Let's see. Or I didn't put any points into that, and he doesn't. Oh nope, that's bad. It's very bad. He's like, oh, it's I don't know.
They are very pretty lights. That's
Just
starting
kind of like
starting to take shape over the stars.
he's just like, He makes like a grunting sound and sits down. That's what he does.
Not that I don't trust every light that I see now, but is that safe?
No. That's fine.
But it's not safe.
Well, most things aren't really safe out here. That's kind of the problem. The adventure, even. How are you feeling? By the way, the heroism is worn off, so whatever hit points you're at is what you're at.
I'm doing a little better right now. Thank you for earlier, to all of you. But I kind of just want to sleep now.
Do it.
An understandable feeling. We should probably take turns keeping watch in case something approaches their camp.
Mm-hmm.
Mirth is happy to take the first watch.
All right.
He is really irritatingly doesn't seem to be tired. It's really
Of course
obnoxious.
he doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh
he's
no,
like,
he has my energy.
and mine.
Oh,
But yeah, he has he's also been lightly playing the concertina, but after camp is set, I think he's starting to realize maybe not advertise to all the critters around anymore. So yeah, he's happy to take a first watch.
Everyone settles in, and over the course of the hour, Mirth on watch, you can see the ribbon continue to make its way across the sky. It seems to be making progress, covering the entirety of the sky, at least at a guess. It doesn't make it too far during the 2 hours of your watch. Give me a perception check as you keep your eyes open for what might or might not be out there.
14.
You keep your eyes open. You pay attention to what, ever might be brought on by the cold and the unknown. But don't seem to see anything of note during your watch, and it passes without any problems. Who do you wake up for the second watch?
Probably tap on Sabine's burrito and see if she's
Why
willing
would you
to.
make the burrito do it?
Oh yeah. She's just like,
Do you want me to get Lane?
no, it's fine. I can do it. And
Lane would have volunteered to take last watch.
at the end of this burrito, her feet are sticking out, and she took off her socks, and she actually put her feet into the flames, and they were just kind of chilling there. all night. So she takes her feet out, she puts her socks on and her shoes on, and in the burrito form, she like gets up and she just kind of waddles outside.
A burrito.
I was waiting for it. I really was.
I had to.
I was waiting.
I could not keep it to myself.
Go ahead and give me a perception check for your watch. What you do notice while you're rolling that is you see this ribbon of green light that continues to make progress across the skies, going back and forth, slowly dissipating, making this green aura over the entirety of the land. It even affects the color of the snow, shifting it into the green tones, not too far off the tone of your skin.
I got a 13.
13, you look around, and as you look, you see a winter hare make its way by in the dark, but not much else of note. And your watch passes without anything else going on.
Okay. So she's gonna go back into the little campsite and she's gonna go over to Lane and just kind of nudge him with her foot.
I think I'm probably already awake because I'm so used to just like crazy early mornings because small children in the house.
Do you sleep with your eyes open?
Absolutely.
So is he laying down right now or is he sitting up?
He's laying down, but we'll probably just like instantly roll over and be like, enjoy the lights outside.
I mean, I wasn't really paying attention. I was trying to keep warm.
That's
Sabine on watch. I wasn't really paying attention, but it's probably nice.
All right. Go sleep more. And just prestidigitates the mittens again for you so that you can have warm hands when you sleep.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Lane,
Okay.
your time on watch is spent the way many of your evenings at the Icewind Dale are. Watching this...
Seeing my name in the snow. What? Sorry.
Ew.
Watching this damn green
Not
ribbon.
canon. I said that in an American accent, not Russian.
It's canon. It's canon. That's how you spend your time. It's too late now.
All right,
Brom's
fine.
judging
Give me a
me.
dexterity check.
Is it legible?
For you, the green ribbon means something. Did you
I
really
rolled an
roll?
18.
It's in cursive.
It wouldn't be out of hand for Lane to be that pissed about this.
I mean, I maybe do like one time. Not like I'll watch, but like one time. Okay.
This ribbon represents a lot more to you than just a pretty light. It finished sometime about when your watch started, is when the ribbon was complete. And the green glow slowly dissipates, moving from the northwest toward the east, where the sun would shine, if it did that sort of thing in Icewind Dale.
Mm-hmm.
And as your watch dissipates, about the time that dawn would rise is when all of the green has made its way to the east, pushing away the possibility of yet another sun. Give me a perception check for your watch.
Okay. I don't know what my perception is. New character, who dis? 7.
Maybe it's because you were too busy trying to pee
Yep.
your name in the snow.
Yep.
Or maybe it's just the latent rage, but you don't pay much attention during watch. So you're surprised when a lone sled dog comes running across the snow-blanketed terrain.
Okay.
You see it just when it's a few feet away. an icy wind begins to stir.
We have real dog.
The breath from the dog hangs in the air like a cloud. Thick white and gray black fur, tongue lolling out its mouth. The dog is a picture of beauty and power. A silhouette on a clean canvas. The bright moon and starlight, no longer obscured by the green aurora, bounce off the snow, revealing a broken harness trailing behind the dog. As it nears, you see a small rider on its back.
Okay.
Your immediate apprehension is relieved when it's not who you think it is. No more than a foot tall, its smooth white porcelain face is painted with 2 red dots, vertically, one over the other. It has a straw coat drawn up over its head, and when it gets near, it throws a snowball at you that slowly grows as it gets closer and closer and closer to your face before thump. In the moment it takes to wipe the snow and ice from your eyes, both creatures are gone. The winds pick up, and you have a terrible feeling that you've had many times in Icewind Dale. A blizzard is approaching. It's about 7 in the morning. You're still a number of miles from Bryn Shander. And you know the danger that blizzards bring.
Mm-hmm.
With that, we're going to pause for a very brief intermission and then come back to see if they make it the rest of the way to Bryn Shander or not. Hello, we are back, and wait, the cameras didn't move. That's great! I thought all the cameras moved during the break. I was so sad. We left off with an incoming blizzard, and Lane being the only one awake at the moment. So, Lane, you know a blizzard is incoming, and it's about 7 in the morning.
Yep.
The game's yours.
Yes. Oh my. Anyways, I would probably, like, we have a tent set up, or is it all of us in one tent?
Yeah.
Or is it, okay, cool.
Most likely. I mean, it's so cold, I don't think.
Yes.
Unless anybody
All
wants
right.
to, like, preserve themselves outside.
No.
It's
we're-
cold
this is
enough
fine.
that when you inhale through your nose,
Feel?
you can feel every nose hair.
Mm, tasty. Cool. Then at this point, I'll just head back into the tent. And I assume just like the cold blast wakes everyone up for a little bit.
Mirth is making bacon.
In
He's
the
trying to do it
tent?
over Neo's hair. Yeah.
Oof.
Like, over there,
Hope
like,
Neo's
holding a
asleep.
piece. It's in a pan. It's not the drippings aren't gonna come on.
Yeah, I
him.
know.
I
but
think
I
Mirth
hope that
goes
Neo's asleep.
when you come in. Mirth looks really guilty and is like, "It's almost done."
Oh, Neil's over there just.
Just aims just peacefully. Every time he snores, it gets hotter. It's like, yes. I'm an opportunist. Creative.
I will watch for a second and just be like,
Our first moment of bonding, Lane.
the second moment will be when you walk outside, realize I've peed my name in the snow, and then you do this. God, it'll be great. But so, I just walk in, acknowledge the bacon, and then just be like, we have a couple of options. In deference to our freezing friends, there's a blizzard coming, so we can either book it now, or we can wait it out here.
Those both sound suboptimal.
Which one's less dangerous?
Staying here.
then I think we should do that.
You're still muted, Sabine.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
There you are.
I think I'm gonna stay here then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let's make sure everything is set up as best as it can be and get prepared. And Mirth is gonna...
Should I light more fires?
Maybe, depending on what fuel we are or are not using. For now, have a piece of bacon that you made, and let's go outside and see if we can reinforce. Lane, what is this? Looking down at the snow.
Brom is immediately judging, not saying anything, but judging. His eyes kind of see it. He reads the name, and then he just looks at Lane. And is like,
Well, so the name doesn't say Lane; it says Achilles. And then
That's long.
yes, it is.
Oh my
well,
god.
Achilles isn't Neo. Let's see who else. Achilles is not Mirth. Well, Mirth might be their name in the snow. So now he's not sure. It can't be Sabine, so it's got to be either Lane or Mirth. Both of them are suspects. So he just kind of look at them both in judgment. I don't know who did this, but I judge both of you.
Mirth, please
tries
high
to-
five me through the screen right now because.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh, wait, that's right. I don't know. I'm doing it, though.
Yeah.
We'll stitch it together later. It's fine.
Perfect.
We'll fix it in post. The wind
Wait,
starts to pick up
Anyways.
harder, and ice begins to drop along with it. So if you're going to stay, you probably don't want to be out here when it hits.
Build up the
Okay.
igloo around the tent. It'll perform the
Yeah.
windscreen.
Yeah.
Best bet. Friend, I will need my mittens back if you would like to stay in there. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's fine.
Mhm.
It's fine.
I go build up the igloo around. I make an igloo around the tent as much as I can so that it blocks the wind.
You're able to make as much progress as you can before the blizzard arrives in full force. At which point it's the best just to hunker down if you're not going to push through. The wind howls. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, out of curiosity, how long does it take for the blizzard to actually hit them?
It's on its way through, so probably you've got another a half hour of work is how much Lane could put into it.
Okay, I grew up in a very snowy climate, and so I'd like to point out that I'm using prestidigitation to warm the snow so that it melts and then insta-freezes into ice, because that is how you make the best igloo. Just so you know.
I'm already taking notes.
Yeah,
That increases its structural integrity.
it does. You're welcome.
Brom's too dumb to know that, but it's a good thing to know.
Yep, and Lane
Mirth
does
is
that.
going to be learning from Lane about these things and is also going to be prestidigitating, but the snow that he tries to make is glittery, and it's just a little much. He's like, presto. Did I do it right, though?
I mean, the point is not the aesthetics, it is the fact that it's solidifying the ice.
Aesthetics.
Okay. Yep, I'm getting that. Yep.
Brom is going to help by using his hands to kind of pat the snow, because he doesn't have that kind of magic. So he's
Cool.
Okay.
The four of you are able to reinforce an igloo around the tent. Sabine, you're inside the tent with this last of the fire starting to burn out. And Lane, that would be the last of the whale oil that you used, these whale oil soaked logs. It's the very last one that you had. You were hoping to be back soon. So you don't think another night in the cold would be particularly good for you and your group. Sabine, you watch that flame that has kept you warm through the night slowly get lower and lower and lower.
Oh, well, Mirth brought lamps. and lots
We
of oil.
have Neo.
And we have Neo. We'll just put him in the middle. We'll just make him sit in the middle of the
Yeah,
igloo.
Neo just sitting crisscross is the new campfire. Sorry.
And Sabine grabs Neo and just like
Cuddle.
him.
Cuddle for warmth. Sorry, baby, but you
Don't
are...
hog the covers, Mirth says, while setting up another lamp. Yeah, it's like a patchouli smell oil. It's like gonna fill the whole thing. Just.
I have a question. When did I make bacon?
Buddy.
I think they made it using your hair when you were asleep. Says Brom carefully.
Neo, you're remarkable.
And I didn't get any?
No, you did.
We gave you some.
We gave you some. You made it yourself. It was very good. Thank you.
Oh,
And just
it
to
was
out
delicious.
of character backtrack, we did give you some. If you.
Okay.
Yeah. We're not just like sitting there
Bacon was
eating it
shared.
while looking at you like.
I
Yeah.
made bacon and I didn't get any.
Nah, making pancakes. Yeah, indeed.
Poor Neo.
Oh, buddy. I'm so sorry.
As for your bear trap that you pulled in,
Yep.
when you retrieve the chain and pull the bear trap out from underneath the snow, there's a completely field-dressed set of ribs,
Yeah, there is.
already cut and ready to be cooked, caught
Wait,
in
it's
the
like
bear
ribs,
trap.
it's not fish? Oh, yes.
That's amazing.
I live in a seaside town, can you tell? What? Cool.
Settling
I'll put it
in to the igloo.
Ribs for breakfast.
It takes 3 hours for the blizzard to pass. And it's not until about 10 a.m. where you're
Hold
able
up,
to...
we don't get to play 3 hours of like bonding time in a tent with brand new stranger people?
We can go around and do at least some of that, yes. So for the
We eat the
next...
ribs.
Then I'll word it this way. For the next
Absolutely.
3 hours, you're trapped in a tiny igloo. Probably no more than 20 square feet of space to try and huddle into. How do you spend these 3 hours in the middle of a blizzard? Guess I'll turn the blizzard back on then.
Bacon was good, but I'd like to have ribs now.
Are they still warm like my pan at home?
Absolutely. Ready to eat and go.
So good.
Have we warmed?
I just pull this bear trap out. It's like, ta-da! Ribs for everybody. It's great.
I won't argue with it.
Just like, do you want some? Or
I'm vegetarian.
Brom is just
I
like,
reach into the bear trap again and pull out toast? I don't know.
It's just like
Brom's gonna
it's like
dig
a
into
Cobb
those
salad
ribs.
just coming out of it.
I'm sorry, that's literally the default. Because, not to be like hipster, but I have one of these at home. And what we get out of that is usually toast and fish. So, you know, that's my default. It's like, ah yes, the vegetarian thing. Toast.
Mirth also brought, oh god, I don't know, carrot sticks, whatever. He brought something. Anyway, I think in the background he's like, anyway, here's Wonderwall. Like, you know, he's just like trying to pass the time. He's like, this is my chance, everyone.
Oh no, we're stuck in a tent with an accordion.
But here's the thing. He's good. Like, I'm joking about it, but Mirth is real good at music. It's a little loud, that's the only challenge, but like, my
Not
boy
over the blizzard.
loves it. Yeah, he is in hog heaven right now. And also he loves having a literally captive audience. It makes it even better.
Sabine looks at Mirth and she's like, can I try it?
Yes! And I think he hands over the instrument, says, this is Elizabeth. Elizabeth, Sabine, Sabine, Elizabeth.
How do I do it?
Well, and I think he'll demonstrate a little bit, and he's just thrilled that you want to have a go at playing.
So when she starts playing this accordion, it's just chaos. It's just like, like she does, like she's like, oh, this is how it.
Yep, off to a good start. Yep, you're gonna want to. You know what? It's great. Mirth is going to watch, and then after a minute, he's going to say, you know what? Have you ever tried a harmonica? And I think he has a neck harmonica, as a decoration. No. It's the little gross one that's like, and he's like, and he hands it over.
And she takes it and she just starts she starts screaming into it because she thinks that's how it's supposed to work.
Oh.
And you just hear,
Okay. Mirth loves when people try to learn new things.
So you just blow into it?
I have shakers. How about this? And he's gonna downgrade you to tiny shakers.
Oh,
they're very light.
Downgrade.
That elementary school band did.
You forgot the triangle.
Oh.
The triangle is using a tool to tap on Brom's armor.
I was gonna say, you just use Brom as an instrument while he's trying to clean his equipment. He just sits there patiently while his armor is being tapped on.
Actually, Mirth is gonna look at Lane, and as this blizzard band is having a go at jamming,
a blizzard
a blizzard band even. I think he's going to look at Lane and say, "Do you sing? You have a singer's voice."
What do you want to hear?
Mirth, DM, can I say that Mirth is aware of some local jams after having performed during his stay? Or would you like me to roll for that?
So, you haven't been to Icewind Dale before. So you wouldn't know anything local for Icewind Dale. Wouldn't have any reason to, at least. Unless...
How about, yeah.
If you make a history check, maybe we'll say, well, that's some research that you did in preparation for the road trip to Icewind Dale. To see if you...
I got a 20, though!
So the song you know, like any research of region, is the most popular local song. Which, because this is Icewind Dale, is definitely a sea shanty of some kind.
Yes.
And because it's essentially a sea shanty in the Yukon, it's a pretty rough song, it's the kind of song you can drink to. It's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah. Mirth is going to start off a little hesitantly, but looking at Lane, and is going to start rolling into the shanty, but waiting for you to see if you'll come in and help with it or know it.
Oh,
is Lane?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Frat boy background established. Yes.
Yes. Garage band, igloo band. So what does Lane's voice sound like?
An angel. And by that I mean I'm proficient in one instrument. I was like, I'm not gonna carry one around. I'm just gonna be a +6 singer.
I knew it! Out of character. I did not know that, by the way, audience, but I knew it in my heart. Okay.
Also, I actually have a playlist that Lane sings to his kids. I have a bunch of songs that he definitely knows and I definitely know. So I will totally do that sometime for you. And with
awesome. Yeah.
So the 3 hours of the blizzard is accomplished quite musically.
I want you to know that I rolled a 19, so +6 is 25 performance on that.
That's awesome. We jam.
That performance is so great that Sabine is actually able to stay on beat with the shakers.
Oh, Sabine!
Brom's being no fun, but as you guys pick up and it starts to sound like a real song, he kind of claps his hands and stops polishing and cleaning his if you walk with metal through water and it's not like modern treated armor, it's gonna get rusty and stuff if you don't take care of it. So that's what he's been doing, and he's being a lot of no fun, but he would actually start clapping his hands.
Armor expert.
I know things sometimes.
I'm so glad.
But yes, if you don't do that, then it'll get all rusty and terrible within like a couple of days. So notes for people who care about armor.
Thank you.
Also,
But
Neo.
yes, he'd be clapping kind of his gauntleted hands as you guys are,
Niffer's laughing a lot. Lane is very like stone faced through it all, just like, yeah, okay,
yeah.
and like joins it. Just
Oh
like,
yeah, for sure.
I'm
and also,
happy.
Neo, you would have been Elizabeth the concertina would have been plopped into your hands, like
Oh,
after
we
it was
trust you with that,
exchanged.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just in your hands. A very well loved concertina.
I like put it down because I'm scared of burning it. I like set it to the side and just like start jamming out with everybody.
Aww. Neo's so sweet and respectful.
Oh, he doesn't
I was
want
kind of
to
hoping you would burn it so we could have conflict, but I love that you did.
Trips in my hair.
sad.
Burn.
No, Mia's too good and sweet.
Neo
He's
is
too
very
pure.
sweet. Yeah, that was chaotic Al, not Mark. Okay.
No,
The 3
Neo's
hours
good.
pass musically. And if it weren't
yes.
for Twitch's wonderful DRM enforcement, we might have some kind of music of some kind. You'll just have to imagine it.
I know a non-copyright sea shanty just off the top of my head. Just y'all should learn it sometime. We can sing
No
it.
one,
That'd be
but I
great.
don't know what the rhythm actually sounds like.
Rip.
I just know what the words are because I had to write them all for
Oh,
something.
nice.
But then I didn't know like what does the song sound like? It's from like 1600, so I don't know if anyone does. But
All
yes,
right.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. We all love music here.
The blizzard passes. You dig out of the igloo. The Peed name is long gone, and the landscape looks completely different than when you had gone in. Not in a, oh no, something teleported us some way kind of way, but just in a fresh coat of ice and snow. It's 10 a.m. You still have 6 miles to travel to get to Bryn Shander. Might be a good idea to get started.
All right. Brom would help break down so they can get going before it gets dark again.
It's still, well, it's dark
always
because it's
dark.
always dark.
Well, you know,
It is
before it gets
always
nighttime again.
Perhaps the most unnerving thing for the 4 of you that aren't from Icewind Dale is when you left knowing that you'd slept a number of hours and having bacon of all things for breakfast, you
And then
expect
ribs.
to walk out into the sun. And instead it's the stars overhead, the moon glowing, and no sun to be seen.
Thanks for the raid.
Thanks for the raid.
Ooh, Ray.
Hello, hello.
Did we get a long rest and or short rest?
You got a long rest out of that, but Brom is exhausted from the
Yeah,
travel
I get my one spell
yesterday.
slot back. I hate being a level 1 warlock.
You start.
Brom is
Go ahead.
exhausted.
You're exhausted. You have 1 level of exhaustion from pushing too hard yesterday.
Mm.
You start making your way north, and the travel is slow. 1 hour, 1 mile. 1 hour, 1 mile. Sabine, would you roll a d8 for me?
Oh.
Yes. That is a 7.
7? Okay.
Mhm.
Noon passes in darkness. You travel another hour, another hour. Uneventful, slow, trudging steps, one at a time, until you're about a mile outside of Bryn Shander itself. Who would be leading the way through this? Lane, I assume?
The native. What's up?
Why don't you give me a perception check?
Away. I don't know what my perception is, and I said that the last time I had to make a perception check. 14.
14? You're passing through a set of rocky outcroppings
Mm-hmm.
on either side. In fact, I will put you there. think
Uh-oh.
Mm.
you should be
Oh,
in the
that's
bottom
not
right corner and be able to see, and if you
Yay.
can't, just let me know.
Oh, I get my hit points back. Hooray!
Oh, we're so cute. Hope we don't die.
Rip.
As you're making your way through this, Lane, you notice footprints in the snow, which means something must be very close with how hard the blizzard blew. It's hard to tell what they are. In fact, they're too obscured by the soft snow. But you do get the distinct impression that there's something nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how we're going to deal with the fact that it's eternal night in Icewind Dale is that everything is dim light as long as you're outside. There's enough light from either the moon or the stars or the aurora to let you see at least 30 feet ahead of you. If you light any kind of lanterns, that's going to be helpful, of course, but makes you equally visible. So I guess one question is, would you be traveling with a lit lantern, or would you be traveling just...
Depends.
What if I
got a
have the
lantern?
lantern?
Yeah.
Okay.
Turn.
So the hair of a Ganassi, yes, they are burning. I think, what is it, a candlelight strength?
It's
Yeah.
5 foot radius.
So you have a 5-foot radius of bright light. And that's it.
Cool.
But are we not using a lamp as well?
That's the question.
Would I know if it's safer to not have a lamp? Like to
You-
not attract attention?
You know that it's much, much, much safer to not have a lamp.
Sweet. Then I've encouraged them to just deal with it. And also maybe boy cover that.
Aww.
He like puts a little bit of cloth over his head.
Mm.
Rom seems not super excited about walking around in the dark, being unable to see. And as he is not yet a higher level paladin, he's secretly kind of scared.
Aw.
But he would he would douse his lantern when they were walking around outside, especially if they saw something.
Sabine has dark vision, so she's good.
All right, how far can Sabine
What up,
see in
Team
the dark?
Human?
Team Human.
I think it's
I have
60.
dark vision.
It's 60 feet.
Fire Genasi have dark vision.
You should see
So
60
you,
feet.
you
now.
all are gonna have to narrate to people what you see for it to work.
Hey.
Ganassi
I
did
have
as well.
eyes.
As you approach, Lane, about the time you get to here, that's where you see the footprints.
Cool.
So the rest of you can stack up any way you want.
I'm like humming the sea shanty under my breath. And then just like, Hmm.
I'm gonna go right here.
I can has survival tracking. I'm proficient in it. Like, could
Go
I
ahead.
try and make it? Like, can I try and figure out what left these? Are these like a big yeti size? Are these a itty bitty pupper size?
Go ahead and give me a survival check.
Can
I'll
I
do
assist
that.
on that?
21.
17. Wait, 19? If I add my math.
They're large. Definitely big. And,
Large. Okay, cool.
They're not walking straight. They're walking crooked, almost as if there's something wrong with whatever is,
Is it yetis? Niffer just really likes yetis.
it is. And as you
Yes!
look up to follow the track, just at the edge of your 30 feet, a large figure stumbles into view.
Oh no.
Oh.
It's a sick yeti though. Oh no, it's Chewbacca.
That's a good yeti noise.
It
That was a really good
turns to
yeti noise,
you.
by the way.
Was.
It turns to you, and the growl drops a pitch. Probably ought to roll initiative.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna start singing to it because the sea shanty was stuck in my head.
Are you gonna take a level in Bard? Join me.
No, I'm
For
just
real?
already good at singing.
Get
That's
better
all
with
I
singing.
need. I can just be good at it without it being a profession. Some people like hobbies, okay?
So
I rolled
if you don't,
initiative but forgot to click my token.
yep,
Forgive
click
me.
your token. No problem. You can put that right back on there.
Are we rolling on Roll20, yeah?
I can.
If you roll, then I can insert you into the initiative, and you can change your number. So either way's fine. If you want to roll and roll 20, that's fine. If you don't want to, I'll just give you a fake one, and you can tell me what you got.
Okay.
I just changed mine. I have my shield out, which changes my AC.
Sure.
So I should
I got
go
15
and do that
for
now.
initiative.
Okay.
I got 22.
Dang.
Wait, what did you get though?
We all just saw the GM crit on initiative. That's fine.
I'm rolling initiative to put you guys in order.
Oh.
Sabine, you said you got 22.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Neo, what did you get?
21.
21.
Y'all.
Wow.
Yes.
We are quick ones.
Good job.
Mirth. And then Brom, you rolled a 17.
He
So I
would
will
take his sword out too as soon as he saw weird tracks.
There is all of that. You are restacked. Sabine, you hear an angry growl from in front of you, and I believe you have enough vision to actually see what's up there. And what you see, it's not in color because the dark vision doesn't allow you to see color, but it is this large yeti, 12 foot tall, but it has one arm that's pulled up close to it, and one eye seems to have been completely just destroyed in some way. The fur around the eye is darkened.
We need to rehabilitate this and keep him as a pet. Please. Please, everyone. Please. I would let you ride him.
No.
Please.
No.
Can I? Okay, this is gonna be weird, but can I roll animal handling to see
Yes!
if I can get him to calm down?
You certainly
same
can.
Oh god.
Okay.
Is it an animal
Nice.
though?
Can I roll
It's-
a heal check to see like
We
what's
are
wrong
gonna
with him?
rehab this
When
yeti.
it gets
I
to
don't
you,
know. It might just be hungry and angry, but I'd like to see like what is going on with it.
sure. When it gets to your turn, we'll keep that in mind.
You know,
Sabine,
I'm
how's
not gonna
the animal
handle
handling?
anything. Forget I said anything because I got a 6.
So,
I don't even know what a yeti is.
Sabine, in order for the animal handling to do anything, you're gonna have to move a little bit closer. So you start working your way closer.
Okay.
And as you're going,
Hi, yeti.
Oh my gosh,
Hi,
no.
Yeti. Hi.
its eyes turn directly towards you, and it bares its fangs.
Wait,
And
I still
goes
have an
deeper.
advantage to use, don't I?
Do it.
I don't keep track.
Save this Yeti.
This Yeti.
Save the Yeti. Come on, chat. Help us.
Save us first.
I still don't know what a yeti is. It's 2. It's a 2. It's
Wow.
2.
It
Worth a try though.
it actually looks
almost.
angrier. And Neo, it's your turn.
Oh. Okay.
Don't do it. Don't be the only one to kill the Yeti.
I'm gonna see that and I'm gonna go over there as well.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Why do we go towards the danger?
So
We are going to save this Yeti.
all of your speed
I
in the
think we're
snow.
on different pages there, Lane.
Like Lane and Niffer are on very different pages too. Lane's like, nope, kill this thing right now. Just get it.
Oh,
and I'm just
okay.
like, I want a pet. I want a pet.
I
wanna
see.
pet.
I want a pet. I want to
Probably
ride this
smells
thing.
bad. Like freezer burnt ribs.
Look, so do we all. It's fine.
I think it probably smells worse than us. I think it probably smells like bear armpits. But
Ew.
yes,
I
please
don't
go
know what
proceed.
bear armpits smell like. Why do you
Neither
know what
do
bear
I.
armpits smell like?
I'm a veterinarian now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Things
valid.
smell
That
things
makes
smell
sense.
bad. Very
Okay.
bad. Animals smell bad.
I defer to your experience.
I am also gonna try to roll an animal handling check. Wow.
Okay. It looks pretty upset right now, so it's probably gonna be pretty hard to do, but go ahead.
I don't have a -1 in animal handling. Okay.
Oh
let's see.
no.
It's okay, I do too.
It happens.
It's okay.
You're muted, buddy.
Oh, am I? Nat 1.
A natural 1.
Oh no!
Sabine and Neo kind of make their way forward, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll make it friendly. Hey, little guy!" And they both like clap their hands a little too loud, and it seems completely irredeemable now.
Oh, we made it worse.
Sir Brom.
All right, so now that we've angered the Yeti, oops, my camera's all over. Hang on, let me fix that. So now that we've made the Yeti really, really angry, Brom is going to take his sword and unfortunately approach the Yeti, try and hurt it because it looks like it's going to attack them. So sorry guys. Let's see.
And I didn't do it with the first two because they were trying to make nice, but everything is difficult terrain because of the snow.
So we move at half speed.
You move at half speed.
Okay. Let me check my movement speed.
Niffer wants this Yeti so bad.
Yeah, speed. Okay.
It's hurting me to play this character that's like, must murder it immediately.
Anything from there? Going for...
He can't really do anything else. Oh, he can do a heal check to figure out what's wrong with it.
It's hurt. You can, even in the dim light with your human eyes, you can tell from here. That actually, you wouldn't be able to see it well enough to make any kind of distinction. Lane, you're up.
All right. Just pulls out this long sword and just does like a little twirl flourish thing. Strides forward and casts a witch bolt at the Yeti.
All right.
I have Warcaster, so I can cast with my weapons and shields and stuff. So I'm gonna use my advantage on that because I can. Okay, well that's fine. If I math, hang on. I don't know what my spell attack is. New character, who dis? Plus 6. 8 plus 6 is
14.
14. Thank you.
14 will hit.
Cool. I just make a chain of lightning from me to it, and I don't know where a D12 is. I've never used a D4 and a D12 in my life. Found it. Let's see. Oh, I do 2 points of lightning damage to it.
2 is better than none.
2 is better than none, and I can just keep inflicting this from now on.
This
Oh no.
electric tether
Oh, no.
extends from the end
I'm a dummy.
of your sword and connects right to the thing's back, and as the electricity arcs over its body, you see a big arc that goes over its shoulder, its injured shoulder, like it's conducting in something behind it.
Yep.
It is Mirth's turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of realize, like, oh yeah, that means it's coming directly for me instead of them, so I'm gonna move as far this way away from the rest of the party as I can.
Okay.
But yeah, we just have this tether, and I can use my action until the spell ends to keep inflicting more damage.
This crackle of electricity.
Yes.
Mirth's turn.
Go ahead.
First of all, Lane, that's cool. Secondly, why are we attacking this? So Mirth is going to jog.
Angry.
Mirth actually is in his head thinking, even I know not to do this. Where's the common sense? So Mirth is going to jog behind everybody and is going to yell at Brom, "Twinkle, twinkle, little star, who's the coolest? Yes, you are," and give you bardic inspiration.
We're the cheerleader.
And then he's gonna... Let's see, is that... Oh my god, let me check my distances. Yeah, okay. He's going to cast Dissonant Whispers.
Okay.
And the Yeti, please make a wisdom saving throw.
Absolutely.
Which is its strong point, I know.
Yeah.
That is a 20. They're still whispering to me. Sorry about that.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, the Yeti's very wise then, and unfortunately, it likely is not going to be affected by psychic whispering from Mirth, which is a shame.
Sorry to say.
I think it looks like Mirth
is
trying to
not.
do like a force maneuver, but I imagine maybe the Yeti is still just Yetiing, and Mirth is like, shit. And I think that'll be his turn.
Had to try. It was just very wise.
There you go. It was too smart.
Too smart. It was just like it used its mind powers back at you.
I'm the one being whispered at. Oh no.
It seems too upset to care about these whispers as it stumbles toward Lane, who's attached to it with electricity, and tries to claw at... Its good arm is still hurt, so it's not swinging as hard as you know a Yeti can, and this 12-foot tall furred creature comes up to you, and when you're this close, you can see quite well it has a yellow streak through its fur as well across its chest. And
I didn't pee on this one.
It reaches out with its claw, and a 16 will hit you.
16 is my armor class.
For 3 slashing damage.
Fine.
And 1 cold.
Okay.
So as the claws rake across you, they're followed. The blood, as it starts to come out, instantly freezes.
Ooh.
And then it's going to glance over at Brom. Or no, it's going to glance over at Sabine, the one that walked up to try and make friends. And its one good eye is going to stare at you and go cold as ice as it gazes your way. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no!
I got a 2.
Oh no!
No, you're being death stared now.
My con is -1. So
No.
it's fine.
Honey, why?
As you stand there, this cold gaze just infuses into Sabine's body. You take 2 cold damage. And you are paralyzed.
Okay.
The cold reminds you too much of what you've suffered these last few days, and it, There's bits for a sea shanty, by the way.
Got it. Not in the middle of combat, but yes.
Sabine, it's your turn. You are paralyzed. So you are unable to move, to go anywhere. Fortunately, your only option is to make a Constitution saving throw.
Are you kidding me? A 4. I give up.
You are still paralyzed.
Oh.
Neo. Sabine has frozen stiff next to you.
I was doing bad. Okay, I'm going to... Oh, there's somebody in front of her. Oh, Brom's in front of her. Okay, I'm going to see that that Lane is in danger.
It's fine.
And, not very enthusiastically, but like also trying to be the hero, he's gonna like run up to the creature, and he's gonna be like, I'm sorry, Mr. Yeti, but I can't allow you to hurt my friends. And he's just going to do a nice little unarmed strike and do like a little palm strike on Mr. Yeti.
Slap the Yeti.
Slap the Yeti.
Like,
Oh,
palm
you're
strike the
level
injured
1.
parts.
You don't even have your key, baby.
Hey, this baby's fighting. Don't mock him. Get in there,
But
Neo.
Oh, I
do.
love this wholesome child.
He's trying. I got a 22 to hit.
This
Definitely
wholesome big
hits.
child.
And for my damage, a 4.
Oh my damn.
Aw.
You
Another
reach out,
4
you
damage.
punch
4
this
great.
Yeti like in its stomach, and you feel the ripple of the fat and fur underneath, and it seems nonplussed.
I also have a feat, martial arts, where I can use one bonus action to make another unarmed strike.
Do it.
So we're going to try to do this. Hey, nat 20.
Woo!
Yay! Good job.
Well done.
Now,
That's lucky.
as the second fist punches, you see Neo's hair grow longer and brighter.
He turns into
Super
Goku.
Saiyan.
With that nat 20, you're going to see him like, his hands go towards the ground. He kind of does like a little handstand, and he kind of does like a little swirl kick. And on the bottom of his feet, it's blue, kind of like the color of his hair. His feet are kind of like warming up, getting a little hotter, and he's just gonna like swirl kick on the beast for 6 damage.
The creature like bends to one knee. It's already been injured. It's already hurting, and now it's looking like it's in really rough shape. Anything else, Neo?
That'll be my turn.
Brom.
All right. So Brom is going to move this 15 feet here, and then he's gonna chop at the creature with his broadsword.
Sounds good.
Let's see if it actually hits. Yay! Does that hit?
23 will hit.
So he kind of like swings his, since it's a large sword, he kind of swings it up and around his head and then brings it kind of down. Not too far, so then it'll take a long time, but just kind of enough to get some force going. Let's strike here. Do 14 damage.
Tell me how you hit this Yeti, because it collapses underneath your blade in a heap.
How tall is the Yeti?
12 feet.
So he probably wouldn't be able to hack at its neck very well, but he kind of slashes from its shoulder down its chest and into its abdomen, and kind of, and most people would kind of let the blade like let it glance off, but he kind of pushes in to make a deeper wound and kind of goes into the side as well, using his weight to push himself into it.
This Yeti collapses to its knees, both on its one good arm, and face down into the snow.
Yeah.
What
Completely
hurt
dead.
the Yeti?
And in its back, and its shoulder where its bad arm was, there's the head of an pickaxe.
Oh. Oh, poachers. Oh, look what
Or-
we did. It's
Or
fine.
he, or another victim.
Ew. Mm.
Wait,
Are we out of combat?
Out of combat. It's dead and gone. It goes quiet for a moment. The wind blows across the snow.
I would have done 12 lightning damage to it next turn anyways, just gonna point out. Just gonna point that out.
Is anybody hurt?
I'm
Like, is
fine.
anybody mauled? Okay.
Am I still paralyzed?
After a minute, the paralysis fades.
A full minute?
Well, a saving throw every turn. So you can
Okay.
make 9 more saving throws if you'd like to see if you save before it expires.
Oh, okay.
Or you can just stand for a minute.
Well, I will head over to Sabine and kind of sing the sea shanty from this morning to kind of like try and tempt her, like familiarize her out of it. And just like be like, come on, come back to us type thing. So come all you no hopers, you jokers and rogues. We're on the road to nowhere, so let's find out where it goes. It might be a ladder to the stars, who knows? Come all you no hopers, you jokers and rogues.
That was wonderful.
There you go, chat.
That was amazing.
You've done it.
Spontaneous performance. Love it.
I
By the way,
challenged chat.
as you are doing that, as our competent warlock is serenading our paralyzed rogue, the bard is going to be carefully scouting ahead to look for more danger and to see where the heck, what else is happening, and if there's a blood trail, if the owner of the pickaxe is nearby. DM, do you want me to roll for that?
Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
18.
18. The only thing that you can find that would be any indication of what happened to this is in the little niche in the rock where this creature came out of. There's a single piece of something humanoid. With that investigation check, it seems like maybe part of a dwarf.
Oh.
And as cold and frozen as it is, it's probably something the Yeti's been carrying with it for a bit.
I know a dwarf that likes to wander out into the snow. Can I check if this is that dwarf?
Make an investigation check.
Okay. I was like, I know one person from my backstory that I didn't make up, and he's a dwarf that likes to wander into the snow. 17.
There's nothing to make you think that this is that dwarf.
Okay, good. had to be sure. Like, not my one backstory person. That's all.
Mirth is gonna kind of hang his head for a minute in sympathy for the person that got Yeti it.
You've been yetied.
And is oh, go ahead, Brom.
No, go ahead. Finish what you're going to say.
That was all. Mirth just, if he had a hat, he would, take it off, but he doesn't. So he just kind of feels badly about it.
They don't have a ton of time, but Brom would kind of basically make a bigger hole and kind of cover the remains as if to bury them. Obviously the ground's frozen in permafrost, so they're not going to be able to dig a real grave for this poor person, but he'd kind of cover them and do a prayer over their body. He's not sure what god they worshipped, but he hopes that Torm is acceptable, or maybe he'd just make a prayer towards gods in general and hope that one of them kind of covers this poor soul.
Mirth will join in, by the way. If you pray, Mirth will participate.
Is there burial routines we have out here? I would imagine the ground is too frozen to dig graves, so do we
This might be a southern thing, because I get the sense that you guys just bite it up here. This is I don't know. DM, you tell me, but I don't know, Lane.
So this is a
I'm
case...
really confused by if you mean bite it as in people just randomly die, or bite it as in you assume we're all cannibals.
I would hope we're not all cannibals.
Donner party of 5? No?
I don't pick up on social cues. I don't know.
No, I'm sorry. DM, what do you think?
To clarify, this is only part of maybe an arm. This isn't a full body.
Oh, we're having
Pray
a full
over the arm
for an arm.
So,
an arm is enough to say this poor soul is dead, and likely.
That's not entirely true.
Odds are good they didn't make it.
Bucky Barnes is somewhere out there alive and needs our help. Okay.
Not.
Do you want to keep the arm in case you find its owner? Is this the thing?
The quest changes.
We need to go. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Generally, because yes, it's permafrost, you can't dig into the ground, but because it's been dark for 2 years, the snow is deep enough that often just burying in a snow cave or burial by exposure is perfectly acceptable in Icewind Dale.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
An open air burial.
All right.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Really callous of me to just kick snow over it and be like, okay, we're good.
That's probably in line with what might happen.
Yeah. I'll just stand back and watch them attempt then. Sorry to make you come up with burial practices on the fly.
That's fine. I decided they now bury things open air, which makes a lot of sense in Icewind Dale.
Good deal.
Anything else before you finish going north?
No.
I think so.
As you make your way out of this rocky outcropping and come back into a bit of an open area in the snow, you can see in the distance, perched atop a low hill, lights to a city. Lane, you know that city is Bryn Shander. The largest city of Icewind Dale. It has a 30-foot tall wall protecting it, keeping the hungry creatures at bay and keeping those within safe and warm, or at least as warm as they can be. As you approach the final few feet, the southwest gate opens before you. A brief exchange between Lane and the guards above is sufficient for them to know that these travelers mean no harm. The city opens up to you. For the sake of convenience, I will show you the entire city. And Lane knows his way around, knows different places that could be helpful. Places like the inn, places like the Black Iron Blades, where, while not the best of materials, you can get some blacksmithing done or some items purchased. The House of the Morning Lord is a temple if you need healing or any kind of moment for prayer. And those tend to be some of the highlights for now. As you start heading down the main street, a bundled up figure walks very briskly up to the group of you and stops directly in front of Lane and is kind of just looking up at her. This is a gnome.
Oh, I bent down. Okay.
Are you? She stares at Lane. You are, aren't you? You're Achilles Laneheart. I recognize you. Looks at all of you, including Brom in armor with a great sword. Looking at your friends, it seems like maybe you're back to helping the Dale. Yes?
That's right, Mirth says, springing up beside Lane. Achilles Laneheart here is back in action, ready to save the Vale. And I think he's going to pull out the concertina and, while making hard eye contact with Lane, be like, this is going to make us money, okay?
My pee antics have been discovered.
Brom is already judging. It's too late. Brom knows now the truth.
This gnome.
Oh no. Anyways.
He's
I think Breeedo, you're muted.
Again?
Oh no, maybe you were just really quiet. I heard the again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Sabine was like, "Oh, that was you."
Everyone's judging you now. What are you gonna do?
Oh no.
Was this about pee?
You have good penmanship.
Wait, we're focusing on the P penmanship instead of asking about Achilles, the legend. And I think Mirth is going to look at the gnome and say, let's compare stories. You go first.
Oh yes, Achilles is well known across the Dale.
That's the story.
Achilles rode into battle for us, and well, it didn't all go well, but that's for him to tell you about. You found your way to Bryn Shander. You came here, you must help. Please, I'm sorry, I'm so impolite. I'm Danica Greysteel, and I have a proposition for you. And I think you're just the kind of folk that we need. Danica, just to give a little bit more picture of this bundled up gnome, she's very bookish looking. And she has ink stains on her fingers as she's gesturing. She has fingerless gloves, so you can see the black ink stains on her fingers. And just so she can hold the pen easier. And she's constantly pushing a small pair of glasses up her nose. And because of the ink stains on her fingers, there's this black streak from just above the tip of her nose up to the bridge of her nose. She looks back and forth. She's like, I've been doing a great deal of research, and I need just a little bit of help. Could you let's come with me to the inn? Let's talk about some details, would you?
Of course, we're here to help you. Isn't that right, guys?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You walk through town following this gnome who's gesturing wildly the entire time, making chit-chat with Mirth, sharing stories of the warrior of Bremen, and all of the great battles and they're all incredibly vague. You get the impression very quickly that it's more like I heard a guy tell a story about a guy. There's this story where Lane blasted a dragon out of the sky with a single blast, and
I have my scarf back from Sabine, and I have just pulled it all the way up to my eyes so that I don't have to force a smile about this. It's fine.
It doesn't take too long to follow this gnome to the Northlook. And the Northlook is probably the most well-known inn in Bryn Shander. It isn't perfect, but it's still exactly what you need. It's a busy enough alehouse with the beer's fine enough. It has a little bit of wine. It has some of the mead that Icewind Dale is famous for. But what it is most known for is something that is hanging on the back wall, and as you walk in, it's really hard not to notice Old Bitey hanging at the back.
What?
And Old Bitey
What's Old
is
Bitey?
a mounted knucklehead trout. Now, knucklehead trout are what Icewind Dale eats. It's the easiest to obtain food. A number of the 10 towns are solely devoted to it. And it is a mounted fish that's sitting on a wall that has been... There's a small rope around it, so you can't get too close. Yes.
Please tell me it is enchanted to sing songs. Please.
Oh no.
Please, can we have one of these?
Lane knows that indeed it is.
Yes!
No.
And as you make your way into the Northlook, there's people drinking and talking and chit-chatting with each other. And after a moment, this mounted fish's head flaps forward. And there's this entire hush. Like everyone in the inn starts to shh.
Mirth, you'll watch this.
Oh, there's a place I like to go. Further up the river's flow. Where it is, I don't know. Must be under all that snow. Oh!
And then the head flaps back. And everyone just toasts. The entire inn just bursts into, Old Bitey, you son of a bitch, I love it.
Wait, that's the entertainment? Old
that normal?
Bitey?
It's a thing around here.
Oh, you need to get a better thing.
Hey,
And I think Mirth is going to
it's our
stand
thing.
up. Yeah. I think Mirth is definitely going... I don't want to take away from the moment here, but at some point, Mirth would definitely perform. After the appropriate narrative beat.
Feel free at your leisure as everyone kind of calms back down. There's this joy of the little blurb of what happened. The gnome with you, she gestures for you to come over and have a seat. And Danica sits down with you. It's like, friends, I'm so glad that you're here. Isn't that special? Isn't that great?
How do we get the fish to play again?
Oh, he does sometimes. It's hard to tell when.
Oh.
Oh, that fish. Dang it.
I'm so glad we have a Billy Bass.
She puts on the table next to her a lantern, not unlike some of those that you carry, but it has runes engraved in it. And she says, well, you see, I could use just a little bit of assistance. Well, I've been watching the weather recently, and I don't know if you've noticed, wait, all of you are new, aren't you? I haven't seen any of you around. Have you been to Icewind Dale before?
No, they have not.
My first time.
No, not ever.
I don't even know how I got here.
Mirth is on a table somewhere in the background, starting up his performance. Just in the
also new.
background.
He's also new.
Certainly a lively one, isn't he? Well, you see, the weather has been... It's been a little harsh for the last 2 years without the sun and with the cold and with the wind that comes out of nowhere and the blizzards. And I really can't understand what's happening with the weather, and we really have to come up with something. And I've gotten an idea. You see, often before a major weather event, before a storm comes in, there are rumors of sightings of these little creatures. And I've done some reading, and there's some research that came out of Cholt about these things called chwingas. And chwingas are these little elemental creatures, and I would really like to study one closer. But I don't know how to catch one. And quite frankly, my research keeps me holed up in here anyway. I would be willing to pay you 25 gold. And this lantern, and she opens the face of the lantern, and within is just regular whale oil light, nothing overly unusual. And she says, if you're close to an elemental, it will change color. It will change to a more of a greenish blue, I think. Yeah, it's greenish blue. If you'll take this, if you'll find the chwingas and catch one, just so I could study it, I would be so very grateful.
We'll do it for you.
That's wonderful!
Do you perhaps have any information on where? Like outside the city in a particular direction, or...?
Well, I've scoured Bryn Shander for one, and the light hasn't changed yet. So I don't think there's any here in Bryn Shander, but there might be in some of the other towns.
Useful.
Can we
We'll be happy to help you.
30 gold.
I'm sorry?
Can we increase the amount
It's
to 30 gold?
fine.
Third. Well, I'm doing research to try and help the Dale, but
It's fine.
Um,
It's fine.
I mean,
You
I mean, 30's an even number, you know, and like sometimes you gotta round it up.
but
I
at
think
20
25 is fine.
It's fine. She's a researcher. She does not have that much to go on, you know?
She kind of glances between all of you. So 25?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's very appreciated. I'm staying here at the Northlook. So if at any point you find something, I would love to see it, to really, just to understand.
What exactly have you been understanding so far? Any things to look out for, pointy bits, etc. Just for our safety.
Chwingas aren't violent. They're
Even when we perhaps tried to catch one and bring it back to you?
Well, I don't know about that, but I've never known a Twinger to be violent.
Okay.
At least the research that I had, she pulls this book out of her bag and puts it on the table.
Listen to a 10-minute rant about Twingas. Apparently, here we go.
She said, "Well, in Chult, they've done a lot of research on Twingas, and usually they show up. They can be friendly. They take a liking to people sometimes, and that's nice. And if they take a liking to you, then they can be quite friendly. And sometimes they even give gifts. I mean, like spiritual gifts.
There's a place I like to go, further up the river's flow. Where it is, I don't know. Must be under all that snow. Oh!
Hey!
I just like absent-mindedly toast in the background while still like listening. This is fine.
Like a true local.
Like, yep. True disillusioned local.
Wait, what kind of gifts do they give?
Spiritual gifts, you know.
Well, there's a number of gifts. So sometimes if they take a liking to somebody, they can they can give you good luck. Good luck's always a great thing for them to give. Sometimes it's just keeping you warm when you're cold, because the Twingas can be very nice. Sometimes they give you little flowers. At least all of that is theoretical. I guess.
Brom kind of like looks through, because even though he's not very smart, he can still read. He kind of like looks through the book, like as if he's going to discern some extra information through this.
Kind of like looking over her shoulder to try and take a look.
Yeah, he's just trying to like read it as if that'll somehow enlighten him as to what the Twingas are.
Go ahead and make a investigation check. See if you get the right page.
Sherlock Holmes got an 11.
You look over, and as you're kind of looking over the book, you notice that Danica starts getting just a little bit more protective. So she like scoots in her chair just like a little bit away from you and kind of scoots the book away a touch. But she's still exuberantly talking about these things in general. But you don't pick up anything further than what she said.
He kind of like makes a soft like huffing sound and kind of settles back into his seat.
Mirth, just so that we can see how well your performance is being appreciated. So it's not only the quality of the performance, but it is also the audience itself and their response. So I want you to make a performance check, and this isn't so much that you didn't do a good job if you do poorly, it's if you hit the right, the right tone for this crowd.
I rolled a 19. Let me add my thing.
Sing that sea shanty.
I'm gonna bring something southern up here, like Beyonce maybe.
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
I dare you to sing Single Ladies right now.
Okay, 24. Mirth owns it. Like, he is raring to go. He is just living his best life. And I think even when Old Bitey makes his cameo, Mirth like immediately goes quiet and starts doing like the greased lightning snap to like let Old Bitey have his moment. Yeah.
Mirth does an excellent job reading the room. A handful of silver coins get tossed to you as a tip. You can roll 2d8 and have that much silver that's tossed to you as a tip for the performance.
Cool.
About the time that you finish that up, and about the time that Danica's getting past her next point about Twingas and their ability to shift into nature and into the rocks and to the woods, the front door of the tavern bursts open, and 3 stocky figures stumble in. Their cold weather gear kind of falling off of them. They have snowshoes on their backs, but you can see that some of the shoes have been broken. They have ice picks fashioned to their belts. 2 of them have really thick beards that are growing out of their scarves, and they've been pushed out like that stereotypical old, 1949ers gold prospector. The third one holds up a gloved hand and says through the thick scarf around it in a raspy voice, "Ale, we need ale." And they collapse in a nearby bench.
Bring in some ale.
Why do they need ale?
It warms you up, kid.
I can do that.
Not everyone is as gifted as you.
Let's bring him some ale.
Sure.
So
Yeah, do that. They will like you.
Neo and Mirth make their way over to the table with the strangers and pick up ales on the way and plop them down.
This is a dark and stormy. Seems appropriate.
The one without the beard kind of looks startled by it. Well met. Thank you. And reaches out to take it, pulls the scarf down, and you can see that she also has a beard, but it's not as thick and grown out. It's wispy with a few braids on either side. And she takes the mug and takes a drink. Well met. I'm Herna, and these are my friends, Corix and Storn. Thank
Hey,
you.
friends.
And you?
I've got warm ale for you to warm you up.
This is
All of us
Neo. Mirth will say very quietly as you present ale, looking adorable.
Herna reaches over and takes a drink and... Warm ale? Yeah.
Isn't it supposed to warm you up?
You're new to Icewind Dale, aren't you, kid? And she finishes the ale and puts the mug down.
How could you tell? Mirth will introduce himself, but also look over to see where everyone else is. We don't want to leave him behind too much.
Brom is actually right behind Mirth, but hasn't said anything, which is really creepy.
Sloshing. Strong and silent type.
And Sabine just comes over Neo and just kind of holds her hands in his hair.
Aww. So cute.
You are certainly an interesting group, aren't you?
I'm just back at the table still. I'm leaving them to fend. Really, we just need to check these kids in the deep end of Icewind Dale. So
Did you encounter any Yetis on your way here?
quick arm count.
She immediately looks up.
There's a place I like to go further up the river flow. Where it is, I don't know. Must be under all that snow. Oh!
So when Sabine hears that, she's gonna go over to Old Bitey, and she's gonna take Old Bitey off of the wall.
Don't you dare!
Old Bitey!
Yes.
Don't harm him.
Reaching up toward Old Bitey, there are tables of people that leap out and run towards you. This is sacred fish territory. So you reach up, you almost get your hands on it, and there are like 16 commoners that are diving on you, and they're all drunk and don't care, and they've got no clue who you are. and you are drug physically away from Old Bitey. You hear
I think
a bang.
she's gonna last well up here.
You hear a bang at the counter up at the bar.
Hey! Leave Old Bitey alone.
Does he have to do that like all the time?
He does it when he pleases.
It's about to drive me crazy.
You'll get over it, or you'll get to liking it.
Or you can mind your business.
This is my business, so I am minding my business. By definition.
Mirth is gonna leap
Hey,
physically in between
no.
them.
How about
Like-
this? No, it's
Don't
fine,
hurt.
it's fine. Have a drink and cool your heels.
And he will pour you a drink.
On the house, a
Unlike
gift.
you, I don't use alcohol to diffuse my problems,
Oh.
bartender.
He drinks it instead.
One of those. I can get you a knucklehead steak if that'll help.
What's that?
It's
Fish, kid.
food. Are you hungry? Do you eat, or do you not even eat to get over your problems?
Okay. Leave the kid out of it. All right.
I think he's talking to you.
What?
Just sit down and we'll bring a knuckle sandwich out to you.
A knuckle sandwich.
Meanwhile, these three dwarves, one reaches out. Through the gloves, you can tell there's only 2 fingers left on one hand. Picks up the mug to take a drink. And Herna looks at you. I have seen a Yeti. How did you know?
Gonna look at Brom.
We just disposed of one.
She spits.
Good riddance to them vile things. We were tasked with delivering a sled of iron ingots here to Bryn Shander. Yeti surprised us. Killed poor Ubik. Ripped him limb from limb. But we need to get the iron back. Get the sled back too. We're not going back out there. We'll pay you a gemstone each to come back with the sled and the iron. The friendship of the dwarves as well, for what that's worth.
Looks over at Sabine.
Not wrong.
I'm thinking that you're going to need more friends if you're going to be picking fights at some favored establishments.
Bean's just staring at old Bitey and her legs shaking. And
Why she hate the fish so much?
She's waiting.
Can I see this and like start the people in the tavern singing it on their own without the fish?
Absolutely. It's well known that just slamming your mug down 3 times and yelling "oh" will cause this entire tavern
I'm doing
to
that.
break out in song.
Cruel.
You can't tell the full physicality of what I'm doing, but I am like tipped back in my chair, like very long legs crossed the ankles, just like watching all of the newbies. just adapting.
Strider in that one scene.
Exactly.
Yeah, looking real cool.
And then one time I'm just gonna
Bang,
Oh.
bang, bang. Oh! And it's Lane instead. So Lane, you lead the O.
Yep.
And everyone else in the tavern just goes, oh!
Including Mirth.
And that
Neo.
And underneath, you just hear Sabine.
But here's my question. Does Brom sing?
No. Brom doesn't sing.
That's fair,
No.
just had to ask.
Never sings. Sing when he's dead. Well, okay, then he won't sing, but you know.
Not
Yeah,
every time a
he's-
paladin sings.
And as
No.
the old bitey chorus rings out, and Sabine starts clawing toward the fish, even though it's not the fish this time, that's where we will wrap up for this evening. So for
Lane
those
smiles a little bit.
that have not watched a game that I run, we are still sticking around, so don't go anywhere. We will spend the next probably 10 or 15 minutes having just a little bit of a chit-chat about the session, the game, things we liked, things that we didn't like, things that went well, things that didn't go well. I'll share a little bit of behind-the-screen type things with the group, and they'll share some stuff with us about things just like that they liked, didn't like, went well, didn't go well. Let me turn the tavern off, and I
And we're
will
gonna get a chat sing-along going
and
with
I
the fish
will
song.
we'll also are happy to take questions from chat if you have any specific questions. Other than that, do you have any comments, questions, concerns, conundrums, or qualms about our game this evening?
No, I had a great
I
time.
love first sessions.
So good.
Mhm.
Oh, fun.
Really fun. Really good. I can't wait to get more Sabine screen time personally as a viewer / player. I can't wait to learn more about this Breeedo that rages forth at the
Breeedo.
fish. Yeah.
Wants to destroy all singing fishes.
We can channel that somewhere. I know that's a useful emotion.
Yeah, for real.
We just have to direct that somewhere. It's going to be really good.
At this point, like, it's going to be one of those things where it's like, okay, we really need to get her amped up. Mirth and I make eye contact and start singing the fish song, and she's like, and just like goes stabs everyone.
To answer +2 to attack.
Yes,
as long as you maintain the song, +2 to attack. Monkey DKS in chat asked for a super high level recap. So the super high level recap is,
well, we're level 1, so
we're all level 1. So it's the super low level recap. Essentially, a group of 4 people make their way up to Icewind Dale for various reasons. When they arrive, there's someone waiting for them that says they were expecting them. The Dale has been covered in night for 2 years, and the sun is chased away every night by the ribbon of the aurora that plays across the sky. They make their way on foot 15 miles up to Bryn Shander and experience Old Bitey. They run into Danica, the gnome researcher, and on the way had killed a yeti with an ice pick in its back before running into a trio of dwarves who were waylaid by a yeti a few days ago. So that's the super high level recap.
And there was singing.
And there was singing.
And there were fish.
There was music.
Yeah, and Niffer
And there was
sang,
great
for those of you who weren't
rejoicing.
here. Niffer actually performed and sang, and it was great. And incidentally,
so
the
many
DM did
shanties.
too.
That was pretty good.
Can we be on Bard's Refrain yet?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say to you, DM, that when you sang it, the vibe, the energy that was brought was very Muppets. And I mean that in the highest of compliments. It was like, mano. So, yeah,
I feel like
I appreciated that.
I am going to need a tankard down here on my desk just so that I can toast, because
Oh, that motion.
this is the vibe.
You have time.
It's like, cheers.
Many more sessions.
Yes, I can't wait.
So a couple questions for all of you. The first sessions always have a little bit of awkwardness as we all learn how each other operates. It's one of the things that I've seen, every single first session I've ever done. There's this, okay, who's going to be the player that says, yes, let's, step up and do this? Who's the one that will, run toward every NPC and say yes to whatever they ask, even before they ask it? Which, Rocks, it's really funny because it is so perfect for Neo as a character. And it is so wonderful as a DM to not have to dangle a hook wondering, well, are they just going to ignore the hook? No, Neo's running straight toward whatever
he's
hook it
going to
is.
run right towards the hook and grab it.
Yep.
We're going to be that video game that has all the unopened side quests, like, just in our inventory that we never finish.
Literally.
Neo talks to everyone.
And
literally.
The thing that I found from the DM side of things prepping this adventure is you really, in this first half, really get the sense that there is a lot that needs done in Icewind Dale. So some things will, be really obvious. Some things you'll just run into. Some things you stumble across randomly. But there's a lot to be done, a lot to do, and that makes it, super interesting from my side of things when you have, a player that runs straight toward all of them. So I would encourage you guys, or you all, to take notes of, quests you've picked up, what you want to accomplish, what you get, that sort of thing. I'll remind you stuff like coins that I give out, treasure that is given out, I will forget about. So if it disappears into the ether.
That also means we can make stuff up and tell him he gave it to us.
And
yes,
I've
remember
never-
the magical sword and armor that you gave me?
Yeah, I've
Yep.
never
Special.
done that.
never.
before,
Yeah, it's amazing.
ever in one of his games.
One question that I have, this was what I was going to ask. So the skill challenge-esque random encounter, how do you feel about more narrative encounters like that instead of straight up combat, which we did later?
I'm big into them, especially if they're, very high level, and normally we'd just be trying to, flee anyways.
I liked it. I was actually terrified.
Yeah.
I was like legitimately scared by the thing chasing us across the ice, like ray beaming us to death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was interesting. It really added a sense of urgency. And it, sometimes in combat in D&D, you can get locked in and you feel like you have to fight something because it's on the map and because it's near you. But something about the way you handled that was neat because it proposed more creative possibilities. So I like that.
Yeah, and I want to push that sort of thing for a couple reasons. One of the big reasons is, just like you said, when you play D&D, Dungeons and Dragons has a lot of tools for combat, which can be fun for, groups that really get into the combat, and we can do full-fledged combat, and there's still going to be combat where all of those get used. So as you level up, then keep that in mind, as we will still have regular combat and those sorts of things. But it gets to be the slog, just the exchange. I roll, did I hit or not? They roll, did they hit or not? And getting that out of the way and doing it differently, I think, is a little bit more narrative fun from my standpoint. It does create some situations where it's, okay, what are we supposed to do? Where you almost get the overwhelmed by the options. You can do anything, just tell me what you do, I'll make it work. But I really think that after a few sessions that's, going to become kind of second nature of what can be done. Usually if you burn a spell slot on a encounter like that, I'll make it a major success right away. Because there will be combats where you might need that spell slot. So yeah, and as Purple's talking about, skill challenges, finding creative ways to use your skills and powers that's the fun of RPGs for me. You get, we've already established that Neo's head can cook bacon. So there's all sorts of things that we can do. Also from the DM side, I want to compliment all of you for the igloo. So not making an igloo, but the 3 hours that became music in the igloo that ended up being almost a sub theme to the entire session. That sort of thing is what I love to see from the DM side of the board, is seeing, Sabine and Brom being the two that don't have anything to do with the music, but are there for it. And, the other three of you just, diving right in. It makes the whole group feel more real. And that's fun.
I will say, like, that igloo thing brought a lot of nostalgia to me, because I've literally, besides being like fantasy race characters, I've had that experience where like me and a bunch of strangers were in an igloo and we're like, let's just sing and chill out. Like, it's just such a good time. I love that.
Did you pee your name?
No, I
there?
did not.
Okay, just checking.
I said in the igloo. Okay, not outside of it.
Okay. Question still stands, but okay.
I mean, I have never peed my name in the snow.
Never. I have gone into a snow tunnel and had someone try and collapse it on me. I think that's my only like similar experience that I've had. So
I have a lot of snow experience. I can't wait to put it to use here.
Excellent.
You have your armor and I have my snow.
No, it's perfect.
Okay, that also was something. Just like, I'm so glad that you're just so descriptive with like, this is how you actually take care of armor in the real world. That was so cool to me.
That was a good moment.
Thank you. I mean, it's helpful when I play someone like Brom, because that's a lot of what he does, unfortunately. Along with realizing that your feet get cold long before the rest of you for some god awful reason.
I will be so grumpy with Brom. Like, let's do it. Let's just be miserable together. I cannot wait.
Excellent.
I have remarks for everybody because I'm the one teacher brain where I'm like, okay, everybody. But for real, Brom, I thank you for playing the straight man a little bit, because it's always fun. We have a good dynamic beginning where we have Sparkle Butt Boy over here, Neo, right, who is leading the charge on just being such a charismatic fella, and then we have Brom, who is a really good foil, right, to some of these personalities and very competent. And so I appreciate you rolling with it when we ad-libbed some interactions with Mirth. Lane, you really, for me, as a viewer / other player, you really started to like pique my curiosity towards the end, especially when like, oh my god, when
Thanks,
Danica
I hate
came
it.
up. When Danica came up, I was like, oh, so we have Paul Bunyan in our party. Neat. You know what I
No, it's
mean?
fine.
Like local legend. And I
Yeah.
loved seeing Lane try and be humble, actually, I think. That was cool. Sabine, I need more screen time with you. I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated. You just
So
have
excited.
this dark appeal and this raging pescatarian hatred that I need to understand more deeply.
Well, a big question with an impression like that, Breeedo, is that the intention with Sabine right now?
That and Breeedo being awkward in a first session. That's literally what that was. Yeah. I'm usually in first sessions, I have to warm up pretty, like, I don't know, gradually, I guess.
Very literally.
Yeah. So, yeah, Sabine's definitely going to be more like what everyone saw in the tavern. That's the core of who she is. She's very impulsive. And it didn't help that she was, dying of potential frostbite. So
yeah.
Yeah. And she has her silly moments too. So
we need to put her back out in the cold because she was cracking me up.
We put her in the burrito, the calmness burrito, when she starts like attacking.
Just be like, when she's in warmth, that's when she's the happiest. But
roll her right up.
No warmth at all. So
friendship is the only warmth we need, and also literal warmth.
Yes. We have Neo for the literal warmth.
Literally.
Everything else is fine.
Wait till he gets more spells.
Can't wait. Yeah, no, I thank you, Breeedo, for putting up with the teasing of I started the fish song because I was like, I want to see her react in character. I just want to see. I want to try something.
So mean.
It was so good to see. Like I was like, there it is. We can be friends now. And I was just very excited. It made me happy.
Yeah, she started screaming like war cries underneath. Yes. Everyone just
I like it because you kept everything together really well through the cold, and then it's like this one fish is what breaks you.
It was the one thing, and I think what set her off is that when people have quirks that are unnecessary, that's what makes her angry. And old Bitey is so unnecessary. She's like, why can't this just be a tavern? Why does it have to be a damn fish on the wall?
Because it's Icewind Dale and they don't have anything else to do. Let them have their
right. Exactly.
Let them have their stupid fish.
And as for old Bitey, just so that there's not any red herrings or anything like that. Fish pun.
It took me a minute.
I only sang the same one because it's the only one I had written down. And it was too funny, the reaction after the first one. So the old Bitey has a full repertoire. It just got stuck on the first song a few times. So
wow, old Bitey has a band camp.
If anybody goes through hey Fable Forge, thanks for the raid. We're wrapping up in 1 minute.
We are having our little post talk.
Yeah, we're having our post talk. Yeah. So this is kind of our aftercare session, talking about what went well, what we liked. There was a comment from chat, Breeedo, about how Sabine was really great for grounding the chilliness of everything. That really helped with the immersion for them at chat.
Oh, yay.
So I think that Breeedo did a better job showing you all how cold it really is in Icewind Dale than I did. Yeah. And it was my job to establish it's cold in Icewind Dale. So Breeedo, I appreciate that a lot because you were perfect for what I hoped would come across what it was like. So
it was method acting because I'm sitting in the basement right now.
Yeah, I'm like, also you just look like you need to be snuggled right now, and I want to just go give you a hug.
I have my owl house shoes on right now, and I have on my Swords Fall giant hoodie that I live in now, and then I have on these big baggy sweatpants. So I'm just
you're cozy.
Yeah.
DM, I just wanted to really quick say thank you and well done managing the pacing like a boss. You made it really seamless. So
Did it go well? Okay,
Thank you for putting up with a bunch of us trying to tame a Yeti.
I
a bunch of us. That was just you.
I mean, to be fair, Sabine did try an animal handling check.
She did.
First.
She tried to help.
She
Didn't want to murder a helpless animal. It's fine.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad the attempt to save the Yeti went so poorly, and I could have an excuse for it to go poorly.
It really did.
It's a 12-foot tall, flesh-eating monster.
You wanted to kill us. It's fine.
What would have
We
happened
get it.
if I passed that?
Could we have kept it as a pet?
I actually know exactly what would have happened if you calmed it down, and I can't say.
Oh,
now I want to know.
No. Wait, everyone. That implies that there is another Yeti out there that there are tameable rules for. So we just have to find it.
There is an entire icy wilderness of creatures, and sometimes there's more about them than you know. So I think that is it for us, unless any of the players have any last moments they want to say. If not, we're going to do a really quick outro. You can find all of us on Twitter in one place or another. Our name things have been redone, so those will be much clearer next time around. If you scroll up in chat, I linked everyone's Twitter so you can find us in the different shows we're on. We're TPK Roleplay. We have games almost every week. We have a Discord that has just been linked by Sir Heck. That is a lot of fun to be a part of. So come on in to the Discord, hang out with us, have opportunities to play in the games going on. On Sunday night, we have Total Party Recall coming up to go over all of the games the week before. So if you miss any of the games, make sure if you see nothing else, catch Total Party Recall, and that will give you the lowdown on what happened. And there may be a special guest this week. We'll have to see. I think that's it for us. We'll go around counterclockwise. I am the last hit point hero. To my right is Breeedo. Go ahead, Breeedo.
Hi, I'm Breeedo. You can find me on Twitter at Breeedo 3Es _, and I'm doing a lot of TTRPG stuff over there. Which is a lot of fun. I'm really excited for the next session, and follow me for all kinds of stuff. I did conglomeration of things. So yeah.
Wonderful. Up and around to T.
Hey, I'm T, and it was great playing today. Thanks everyone for coming, and I hope you guys had fun. I'm sorry my character is very
he's perfect.
Straight-laced.
Chef kiss.
Sorry, he's so perfect.
Yeah.
So perfect. Well, thank you for that. But I that wasn't quite the word that I had in mind. But I'll accept this. And thank you so much. And I think my Twitter handle was linked somewhere, and it went up and away. But I'm also on Instagram, and I'm also on Tumblr. So if you want to follow me, I'm not super exciting, but I do like some cosplay stuff.
You do amazing cosplay. Just gonna leap in there and yell.
Really good cosplay.
Oh my god, T is insane. Like Dragon Age and Star Wars. Like he's all like, oh, I do some cosplay. It's wild. You definitely need to follow this little Bromling who's not talking himself up. But
T, I saw your Luke Skywalker, and
I like the Obi-Wan.
The Obi-Wan was the beard on the Obi-Wan.
I need to see.
Yes. So if no one has seen that, jump on T's. He's going to show you exactly how you should dress to cosplay Obi-Wan appropriately.
Can you give us like one hello there a second?
Hello there.
Perfect. That's all I needed.
Up and around to Al.
It's not letting me type anything for some reason, but my Instagram name is T Houston, THUESTON, just like my Twitter handle, and you can just type that in and I should come right up. And I think I'm already in like a Star Wars costume or something. My picture.
Wonderful. Al?
My name is Al. and this was a fantastic game. Forgot everything I was going to say. I love drawing, especially for indie tabletop games, and you can find me on socials at al_Luckhart. Yep.
Nif.
Which I would just like to point out, I came out with my character's last name independently, but it's almost the same. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
You're cool.
You're cool.
Niffer, you can outro yourself too if you
Hi,
want.
it's me. I'm Niffer. I'm everywhere at NifferNiff. I am a producer and showrunner type thing on the Not Quite Heroes podcast. Find us on Twitter at NQH Podcast. We do a whole bunch of different game systems set in the same community-built world. It's so much fun. Lots of different adventures. It's really fun. And I'm also on TPK far too often. I was here on Wednesday night on Strahd, our Darkest Night, Brightest Light, and yesterday in our Queen's Gambit, our very first Tyranny of Dragons game, where a lot happened. So check those out and check out the rest of the TPK show games. I'm used to just I'm in the habit of advertising tomorrow's game now because I've been on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'll just say, hey, the Bard's Refrain is a one-shot that is coming up tomorrow. I'm not in it, but you saw that I was sort of a bard. So go check out Real Bards. Each Bard's Refrain one-shot is based on a secret song message type thing. So it's really cool. Try and find the hints and stuff. It's got really cool people in it. Okay, cool.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Rox, to wrap us up.
Yeah, my name is Rox. You can find me on Twitter at Rox the Wizard. I play TTRPGs. I like anime a lot, and you can always come and talk to me about it. Thanks for joining us tonight. Yes,
that is everything. We're gonna find somebody to raid. If any of you players have any recommendations, feel free.
Let me see.
I am open to Rex. Let's see here.
I mean, my friend is streaming Baldur's Gate right now.
Dicey Amazons is on right now.
Is Dicey on right now? I was gonna see if Dicey was on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll
Perception Studios on. Talk shows and podcasts.
Okay, Dicey's doing Yakuza right now. Perception's doing. Yeah, we'll jump in on Dicey. So we're